death, thou shalt die. It's time for Bad Movies Rule, the worst movie podcast ever recorded. And today we got the mayor in session at the table, the dirt farmer himself, Clint Bush, is in the house, and the Reverend Charles Hewitt.
Yes.
It's the Iron Eagle crew for Iron Eagle 4 on the attack.
On the attack. And we are on the attack.
We, I've loved a lot of movies that might not be great, but it's like there's very few that make me really sad that I love them. And the fact that I loved Iron Eagle 1 makes me really sad that it led to this.
So
this is a good point.
The two of yours, both's fault, because I remember before we ever started the podcast, you had told me how much you loved Iron Eagle.
Iron Eagle's awesome.
And I know you told me the same thing right around when we started.
I still stand by Iron Eagle's awesome.
Yes, I do. It's a good.
I cannot be held responsible for what came after.
And so if those of you who've been listening for a long time, you know what to expect. But if you're a new listener, I just want to tell you, we're going to walk through this movie scene by scene, Iron Eagle 4 on the attack. Before we do that, we're going to let you know all the particulars, the vitals, who wrote it, directed it, starred in it, the numbers, the box office, all that stuff. And then after we've walked through the entirety of the plot, we're going to give it some awards. Some good awards that the actors would be happy to win, and some that they would hang their head in shame if they knew they won.
Yes.
But don't worry, they'll have no idea because they're definitely not listening to this. And then at the end, we're going to make a decision. Is this actually a good movie? Is it a bad movie straight up, or the coveted, it's a bad movie that rules? We'll see as we go through.
Very coveted.
You guys ready to jump into this movie, this plot?
Do it.
As ready as I'll ever be.
Absolutely.
Who the heck is Bucky?
Yeah. What happened to Thumper?
I spent the first 5 minutes of this movie confused about who's who.
It's not clear that that's Doug Masters in the beginning.
No.
So those of you who don't know, Doug Masters was the protagonist of the first Iron Eagle movie. I got to imagine if you're listening to a show about the fourth Iron Eagle, you know who the hell Doug Masters is.
I would think
But-
so.
Well, they ditched
Just in
him.
case.
Well, they know who Chappy
out.
is anyway.
Yeah.
Right. So he was not part of the second movie. Well, he was for like 5 minutes.
Yep.
In the beginning of Iron Eagle
His
2,
code name then?
Thumper, Doug Masters, and Cooper were flying by the Russian border. He ends up inadvertently in Russian airspace, Doug Masters does.
Yes.
And ends up getting intercepted by some MiGs. And I put MiGs in air quotations.
Yeah.
Yes. F-4 Phantom, still
among the-
insulting that they used the greatest American fighter jet to be a Soviet aircraft.
That's a big old fat airplane to be looking like a MiG.
Yeah, still among the best acting in any Iron Eagle, though.
It's true. And so what part 4 starts with is a reenactment of 2, and they had to reshoot it because they have a new actor as Doug Masters.
Can I tell you?
Yeah.
I was watching the beginning of this movie, and my first note was, why the hell are they flying in Soviet airspace again?
Again, after what happened to Doug.
Totally confused. I thought it was like now, not retelling the old story.
Well, the reason you thought that is because it was done in such a hacky job.
Yeah.
He didn't even use the same call sign. Like, did they?
No.
It's like they reshot the scene without going back and watching Iron Eagle 2 for reference.
Right.
I think they didn't have the go ahead to do it. They just named it Iron Eagle 4. It has nothing to do with the other ones. It's just Chappy is like, yeah, we could do this.
The one time.
It's an unauthorized mission to make this movie.
The one time a movie doesn't go back and reuse footage.
Seriously.
I mean, come on. Seriously, like it's
footage, as I
95. It was
recall.
made in 95. You couldn't go and superimpose new Doug Masters face over his old one.
Or just reshoot his shot.
Cockpit shots.
And
Not
all
like they were great anyways.
Right. All of the ancillary footage of the other planes, Cooper, all that stuff could have been reused.
Right.
But no. And the reason you also don't know for sure it's Doug Masters is they call him Bucky. They call him Falcon.
Falcon
is his call sign. The guy playing Cooper isn't Cooper.
No.
And then when it very, very quickly cuts forward in time to where Doug Masters is now, this other lady who he's basically become a crop duster. He's retired from the military.
That was confusing too.
This other lady's calling him Bucky, and no one calls him Doug for a while.
And then I think, wasn't Duster one of them too?
Duster was another.
Well, yeah, one of the delinquents gave him that nickname.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
30-year-old delinquent.
30-year-old delinquent.
She was older than him.
Yeah, I know.
By 7 years.
the reason
Are we going to gloss over the eyeliner usage on old Doug?
on Doug
Doug
Masters.
have some eyeliner on?
No, he didn't gloss over it. He just put it out there.
Extra. Give me extra.
Like, are you sure this is enough? I want more.
I got to highlight these eyes.
So
I want my eyes to pop.
here's the question. Why do we have to go back and show the beginning of part 2? Because in the beginning of Iron Eagle 2, Doug Masters' character is unceremoniously killed off.
Yes.
Much
Terrible.
to the anger of the fans
Yes.
at the time.
Right.
Because it was just like, 5 minutes in, he's dead.
Exploded.
But now they get to the point where old Sidney J. Fury's like, I want to make Iron Eagle 4.
We need him back.
We need Doug Masters. What do we do?
Lou Gossett needs to be paid.
Let's just go back, redo the part 2 at beginning, and say that he didn't actually die. He ejected and ended up in a Soviet prison.
Yes.
Yes.
For all that time. Okay, whatever, fine. Yes.
Okay. They're screwing around over the Bering Strait, whatever that is up there.
Right.
Yep.
And they're doing some 10G testing, trying to get the 10Gs, end up in Soviet airspace, still well over the water.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
They get approached by these 2 Soviet planes. Hey, you're in airspace. Don't do anything. Okay, they're going to escort you out of airspace. All right, cool. Let's escort us out of airspace. Everything is cool here. Everything is fine. This is reasonable.
No, man, they're going to shoot
No,
me,
they're
man.
going to shoot me down. This guy is cracked out. He's got the cops following him. He's hiding stuff under his seat. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand where this is all coming from, but they shoot him down, heading back to American airspace from over the ocean, and he punches out and lands in the friggin' middle of a forest.
No, he lands on the side of a hill next to a parking lot in a corporate park, is what it looks like.
Right. Yeah.
And Sarah
That it
Palin is
did.
sitting on her back porch going with her martini. Well, that didn't go right, did it?
Right. She could see Doug Masters from her house.
Doug Masters from her house.
When them crab boats picked him up.
Why
it
did
was-
someone just call Sarah? Is Doug alive or not?
yeah,
Chappie, you could have called Sarah. She saw the whole thing. But you left me there, Chappie. Boo-hoo.
Chappy.
Could you imagine he punches out, he gets his parachute, and he's just like, I'm going to glide all the way to the other side of the island here.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like coming in on Fortnite.
He's going to land in Alaska.
He's going into Breakwater Bay.
And you knew they were Russians because of the tall hats and the AK-47.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. The people cosplaying as Russian
Yeah,
soldiers.
exactly.
All right. So it really cuts fast and very disorientingly.
The whole movie does.
He's a crop duster now. Now we're in present day. Doug is a crop duster. He works for this lady. It's just the 2 of them flying these little planes, dusting crops. He walks out after waking up among a slew of beer bottles and things,
Yeah.
out to go get in this crop duster. But there's a guy
Working on
the engine.
Yeah.
A callback to the first time he saw him in Iron Eagle 1.
That's right. A lot of callbacks in this
And it's like Lou Gossett doesn't know how to fix airplanes, so he's literally just slapping the engine with a
Yeah, he
screwdriver.
just-
Just
got
like
the old hammer locks out. Just
doing nothing. He's like, shh, just get the angles, okay?
right.
What I tell you about running that mixture so lean?
That's right. That's right.
Run it too lean.
Chewing my gum.
And it's kind of a matter of fact reunion. It's like
Yeah.
there's no build up at all.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. It's like they've
not
known
like-
each other for a while again.
He stepped out and goes, "Hey Doug, it's been a while." Nothing. He's just like, "Oh, hey Doug, you're alive. Cool. So your engine here, like that's just
And he's literally like a drive down the road.
apparently
Yeah.
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 They both have
just
Fords.
glossed over all of that."
Sweet Fords, bro.
Sweet Fords,
Those
yes.
were some
That
glorious.
truck was awesome.
That
wasn't it?
van,
Yes.
that
Van,
pickup, that dual.
yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, hey, you're not dead. What's up?
Yeah, pretty much.
So I need your help. I'm got a flight school here for delinquents.
Yes.
And I need a flight instructor because ours is about to leave. Like his other.
He didn't
flight
tell him
instructor.
delinquents
they're
yet
spirited.
at that point.
No, he doesn't know.
spirited.
Yes.
They're spirited.
spirited.
But it's a flight school. I need some. He's like, no, I've already got a job.
Well, being bitter is not a job, Doug.
And then the girl, to do
Like,
Chappie
I'll
a
fix
favor,
that.
just fires him.
Yeah.
So now he
She's
has
like,
no
oh,
choice.
what Doug say?
yeah.
Oh, well, I'll go take care of that.
Take care of that.
Doug shoots him a glance. It's like,
I thought it was Doug's mother, actually.
Maybe-
But then I
I don't
realized
know.
No.
Doug's mother looked very different.
yeah.
So
Well, so did Doug.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Doug got really roughed up in prison because he looks totally different.
his whole face, they had to
Face
reconstruct.
transplant.
Yeah.
Doug Masters was the first face transplant.
Oh, Jason Gendry wanted nothing to do with part 4, I guess.
Smart on his part. I
nope.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, so he gets over to the flight school, which looks like a hop, skip, and a jump away from wherever he's dusting crops.
Yeah.
And this is where Doug sees that it's pandemonium. We got planes goofing off in the air, these T-6s,
Yes.
these yellow training planes. And the other flight instructor is dipping out. He's like, I've had it with these psycho
Yep.
kids. I'm out of here. And Chappie literally turns out, he's like, please, I need your help.
Need your
Please,
help.
please,
Yeah.
please stay, and begs him. And then he shows up to the school and like, all right, let's gather the class up and we get our introductory meeting. We get to meet the kids because that's how these movies work. He literally goes down the line. I'm going to introduce you to all the characters here in this movie. And here's Doug. meeting all
There
of
are
them.
plot expositions that are important
That
later.
was the guy that drove away in the little Chevette was the former flight instructor.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, he was just like,
I have
no.
an interesting story about Chevettes. Well, it's not interesting, but I got a story about it.
Let's go, Chuck.
So my
right. Chuck
grandmother,
Tails.
my grandma Feast had a Chevette, and she was the sweetest, dearest old lady.
Great
Feast
story,
was
bro.
her name.
Yeah.
Eva Feast, and when she would drive it, she would always talk to the shifter. It was a stick shift. She would always talk to the shifter like, "Get in the gear, get in the gear, get in the gear."
That
And
helps.
I was a little child, and I remember thinking, I don't think I'm totally safe with Grandma Feast driving this car. Like, I didn't realize you had to talk to the gears as you switched them.
Oh, nothing's gonna happen to you in a Chevette,
Oh,
man.
She was sweet, old lady.
My grandma had a Chevette too. That's
Did
the
she?
crazy. She had a yellow one.
It's hard to die at 27 mile an hour.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Can't do it.
Not impossible.
But I appreciate the movie. Brought back the memory of my dear grandmother who's
right.
departed so many years ago now. And yeah,
So they bring Doug in front of this class, and Chappie's like, "This is Doug Masters. He died, but we brought him back for this movie, and so he's going to be your new flight instructor."
that's right.
You know, and
we couldn't
go
get
down.
anybody else.
They even named it the Iron Eagle Flight School.
Right.
That phrase has never been part of the movies at all. Like, so they
true.
they just named it after the movie.
No, they were that was the team, the Iron Eagles. That
When?
was the jackets.
The first
the
one?
Flight,
In the first
one.
Okay.
Oh, see,
They
I
were the Iron Eagles.
I didn't know they'd ever
and they gave
reference.
Chappie an Iron Eagle jacket.
Jacket.
It's
was
been
part of
so
it.
long since I've seen
Come on,
80,
bro.
90 movies since we watched
We
the
should
first
all
one.
go back and watch the first one again tonight.
Never. All right, so it's the Iron Eagle Flight School. We get these kids like, all right, this guy's in here for Grand Theft Auto. We got phone fraud and computer fraud
hacker.
girl over here,
Drug runner.
drug runner. This little 8-year-old tried to pick up a hooker. That's one of
Right.
them.
Ralph Macchio.
Oh, you mean
the only young one.
little
Rudy.
Mikey with his inhaler
Rudy.
there?
Rudy,
Yeah,
yes.
Rudy.
Yes, I'm like out of nowhere, the most innocent looking little
Yes,
kid is the kid that got busted for solicitation of prostitution.
Sometimes that happens.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't
Tell
got a
us the story,
I don't
Chuck.
got a story about that. No. I don't even have any stories. That was not part of my life growing up, so I'm good.
After all this, Chappie goes, all right, we've got to get, Doug's going to get you guys ready for the combat trials against the Air Force kids down the road.
Like that seems fair.
Yes.
This is totally fair.
Well, Doug went off on him on that. Like, what are you talking about? These kids' parents have been flying since they're 8 years old.
I'm like, is this Major Payne? It's basically the exact same plot as Major Payne,
But much more poorly done.
much more poorly done. And Doug basically gets up there and he's like, yeah, well, here's the deal. Kids suck. And
I liked what
That's right. He just walks
I liked
out.
what he said.
kids suck. I hate kids.
I was like, hey, Bob's in this one.
That's what I thought. He's like, when I was 9, I wanted to be 15. When I was 15, I wanted to be 21 because I hate kids. I was like,
He goes,
Dash Bob Hauser.
He walks away. None of you could ever fly an unauthorized mission into the Middle East to save your dad or take over an Air Force base. Kids could never do that.
No.
Wait a sec, Doug. You literally had a whole team of teenagers take
did.
over an Air
Right.
Force
They were
base.
cooler teenagers, though.
But they were still kids.
They actually might have been closer to
know
kids'
what?
age.
But they were the Air
Yeah.
Force kids.
You know what I thought
That's
about
true.
this one? It was Iron Eagle 1 rewritten with delinquents and flight training.
Yeah, so here's what I'll
very
say.
little flight training.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I try to, when I can, find good things about these movies. And one, I think, big pro for Iron Eagle 4 compared to 2 and 3, it has the most connective tissue to part 1.
That
that
it
is
does.
true.
Then it references part 1. 2 and 3 almost acted like, other than Doug dying in the beginning of the second one.
Yeah.
Because remember, Chappie didn't even bring up Doug again the rest of that movie.
Oh, no, yeah.
Right.
They
Or
kinda
the third movie.
They kind of pretend the first one almost didn't happen.
Yeah.
Right.
And so at least I appreciated there was so much
Something
going
tying
back,
it back. Yeah,
to
absolutely.
the first one.
It's like the last Indiana Jones movie. You got to bring some stuff back.
You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a new Indiana Jones movie?
There is. Just came out. All right, so Chappie basically goes and follows Doug after he says the Bob Hauser stuff, and he says, "Look, man, just give me a few days, a couple weeks, and I'll find your replacement." And Doug basically agrees. Fine, okay.
We know that Doug is jaded and tough because he smokes now.
Yeah.
He smokes so much,
A lot.
like in every scene that he's
He's
in.
always smoking.
Yeah.
He's well, we find this is when we get our first flashback actually to his water torture, which is not being waterboarded. It's literally just a guard going, "Oh, you like water?"
Yeah.
How long can you
drink
live
this
without
water?
water?
I thought that was going to water torture, but it wasn't. I mean,
8 days.
waterboarding.
You want some water?
Yeah, it's only 3 days too. So
It's just water torture, and then he's like,
that,
"Watch me
that
drink
guy
this
would have
water."
come back in and be like, "Oh crap, he died. I thought it was 8 days." Oh, Commandant General's gonna be so mad at you.
Masters died again
Doug
at the
Masters
hands of the
died.
Soviets.
Oh my God, you're going to be so busted.
He's like, oh, darn, it was food.
Yeah.
But you can go longer. Not water. Should have given him that glass.
So we get this training montage sent to like Caribbean drum music or something. Like we're just basically.
There's always music going in this one, too.
I love how the whole montage is just of Doug Masters not giving a rip about anything that's happening.
There
Sleeping
were 2
in the
montages
plane.
in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not teaching them anything.
No.
He's sleeping in the plane, or he's building a house of cards, or doing anything but teaching them literally anything.
Yeah.
And at one point, the favorite part of the montage, though, is when he overhears Chappie's doing a fake phone call.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
And he's in there going, What do you mean? I
promised
can't have a
Doc
replacement.
Christmas."
I promised him we had to get a replacement. You got to get me a replacement. And then he's like, can you believe the replacement store for flight instructors doesn't have any replacements? This is ridiculous. Like,
All the while
so
he's got
obviously.
his hand on the
Yeah.
where you put the receiver down. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
See, kids, back in the day when you made a phone call, you picked up the phone and it lifted
Yes.
a button.
And that was a
Yes,
rotary
right.
phone, too, that you had. We talked about this at that
Yeah.
interview I was
Right.
The first thing I was majorly offended by in this movie is in this worthless montage that is showing nothing that ends up being relevant to anything.
Nope.
They wasted the only jukebox slap we get
Oh, that's
I
right.
was disappointed. Yes.
in the entire movie.
Only one.
He did it. He slapped
it.
the
We had
jukebox.
one.
He dances for all of 10 seconds.
And he hit
then
it so
just-
hard it looked like it almost fell over again. It's the same clapped out jukebox that don't actually work. I don't know who they got building these fake jukeboxes.
It's
Oh, the
ridiculous.
same one.
And they
It's
never.
probably IKEA, and they forgot to put the back panel on it, so it wavers around a lot.
You
was
have
a-
to
right about
save the
that.
jukebox slap for the most dramatic part
Yes.
of the movie.
There could have been at least
What?
two of them in
And
here.
he takes his, and then he takes his gum out of his mouth and sticks it on something. And
This- for the
That's
for
what he
when the
needed to
chips are down,
slap
when-
a jukebox.
That's when you bring out the jukebox.
That's right.
That's right.
Not in the first 15
Not for
minutes.
a montage when you've already done one before.
That's seriously.
Yeah.
And it
Wasn't
just
that
fades
after
to
he
black.
like went through and woke him up too, or was that?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Same thing.
wasted.
Yeah, he sang him a song.
Yeah.
All right, Wheeler and Doug have this. Now, Wheeler is most of these kids I'm going to refer to as Blonde Boy and Hooker Kid.
Yeah,
and whatever
I
else.
didn't
I
care
think that's
enough
the
to
same
look
guy.
at their names.
The only name I really remember are Kitty and Wheeler.
That's the only
Wheeler
ones I
is
remember.
this Canadian girl trying to act like a hardcore
New Yorker.
like New Yorker or something,
Yeah.
just failing miserably
Yeah.
with this mullet, and she's like the one that's trying to go to Mexico. And
I had to ask my wife what that hairstyle was.
yeah, it was a
She
mullet.
said mullet, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know. Girl
Yeah, she had the business up front and the party in the back. The party on the way to Mexico.
wore a lot of leather jacket.
And so Wheeler and Doug have this like got to get to know you talk, right? And at one point, she's talking about going to Mexico, and Doug is being very aloof, like he is for most of this movie. And she goes,
Don't nothing turn your crank.
and I just wanted him to say like, I don't know, firing missiles while I'm still on the tarmac. You know,
Not 30-year-old teenage delinquents with
Yeah.
mullets.
Yeah, exactly.
was she 30 years old?
She's 27.
She was older than him by 7 years.
What?
She was born in 68. He was born in 75.
So this is supposed to be a flash forward from Iron Eagle 1.
Yes.
Yep.
When Doug was 18.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they cast somebody who's only 2 years older than Doug
And
played.
in Iron Eagle 2, he was a professional military pilot.
Right.
Air
Yeah.
Force pilot, so he would have been at least, what, 24, 25?
24, yeah,
even
right.
later.
years into
He was years into
training.
his career, yeah.
Yeah.
And they cast this baby face to play the grizzled old version
Yes.
of Doug Master.
But he is literally 7 years younger than her.
Okay, well, that makes me feel better about the last scene of the movie.
Yeah, my
yeah.
wife was like, don't do it, don't do it.
Yeah, me too.
We'll get there.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
"Eeh."
But
Classic 90s movie ending.
yeah, so we get the competition that I thought the way this movie was going was that we were building to this competition to the end of the movie. But the competition with the Air Force kids happens pretty early. And it doesn't go well. I mean, the Iron Eagle kids get smacked around basically
Yeah.
by the air. Is paintball dogfighting comes back from
Yes.
Iron Eagle 3.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, I was impressed by that.
And that's what they're doing here. And they get lost or they get blasted and lose the competition.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
think
they
the
weren't
Air
done
Force...
with the competition. They never finished it.
No.
No.
And I don't think the Air Force kids plane would be faster than the T-6 Texan. It was like an old Stearman.
Oh, okay.
The Texan was like, I think, a pretty advanced trainer.
The yellow
World War
ones.
II, the yellow
I'm like, the yellow planes, you know what they are.
She's
I'm
like,
just-
he's too fast.
figured.
And then the whole plane's behind him the whole time. Like, I can't get away.
I figured Charles would fill
Yeah.
us in because I was
Yeah.
like, oh, the yellow plane. I like the yellow
Yeah.
plane.
Yellow plane Texans were cool.
yeah.
But
one of the yellow
Pretty
planes.
advanced trainers.
What's that?
They were pretty advanced trainers, I think.
Okay.
Big stupid motors
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah, big radials. We see some of those fly over every once in
I
a while.
did forget to mention that right before the competition, one of the higher ups from Callahan Auto and Tommy Boy showed up dressed up like a sheriff.
Yep.
Wilcox. Wilcox was great.
I called him Boss Hog because he just had that feel.
Yeah.
The only thing I remembered
Yeah.
him from was Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
and
So,
that was great. He showed up basically to say, I don't think this rehab program should be running, and we're going to shut you down if you don't.
Chappie says, I know the governor. So
That's right.
good. Governor.
Yeah, he's coming in. I don't think so.
So I think we're identifying an issue with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
We're only, a few minutes into it, and there's
20
already
minutes.
like 15 plot points going on. in
It's
this movie.
way more needlessly complicated
Yes.
than it
Yes.
should be.
far more.
It's even just when I structured this plot recap, I'm like, there's so many threads.
And it jumps all over the place between these things.
I'm trying my best to keep it cohesive. And some of these scenes where 3 things are happening and they're cutting in between them, I'm literally going to take them one at a time and not intercut back and forth between all of them.
because they were like that
that's
the whole time.
Craziness.
And they built no chemistry between the kids, really. They built no chemistry between Chappie and the kids. None of that.
This is the problem. By the end of the movie, when we're supposed to care what happens to these kids, there's no stakes at all because they didn't do anything.
Nope.
When you're already running a montage during the time of the movie where you should be getting to know the kids,
Yes.
Right.
you don't know anything about them other than what crimes they did.
Yeah.
And Wheeler's the only one that gets any kind of attention at all.
Right.
really.
He's the only
Rudy
one.
and Wheeler.
Maybe
Yeah,
Rudy,
a little bit.
Back guy.
Yeah, inhaler guy. Yeah.
But that's it. And so what happens with Wheeler, while she's supposed to be showing up to the competition, she literally takes her plane and lands at he goes to sell sugar to a drug dealer.
Yeah.
Surplus dealer guy
Yeah.
who happens also traffic.
He's an arms
Yes.
guy.
These kids fly planes like they just take their bikes for rides.
Seriously.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, come on now. Why doesn't Chappie have better? Why doesn't he just take the keys?
Really.
Seriously, take out a solenoid or something so they can't just take it wherever and whenever they
Right.
want. It's like it's just on the bike rack outside.
maybe
Don't
just-
fly, kids. Just do whatever you
Maybe
want.
just
They
not
got the
fill
key
them
to
with
lock
fuel.
the
Yeah.
combo.
Yeah, they gotta put fuel. There's no seriously.
No.
These planes are just take
We're gonna
them
fly
off.
this
We're
to
gonna
Mexico.
go.
Do you have any idea how long it would take to get that thing to Mexico?
Yeah, seriously.
You have to make at least 2 stops.
Yeah, because they were at least in Georgia.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Yeah, they were in Georgia,
They were in
right.
Georgia.
That's right.
So they'd have to fly. Yeah, it's a long ways.
It's a long ways.
That's hours to avoid being tailed
Yes.
found. I'm going
Right.
to just take
for
this
sure.
plane and go to Mexico.
Yeah.
So Wheeler lands. So we know Wheeler used to be a drug runner. That was why she was in jail. Can I wait before we even get into this? Why on earth would they let kids who were in jail go become go to a flight?
Because Chappie knows the governor.
Yeah,
Okay.
but here's the more important question.
We're gonna teach them to fly planes.
Why are these kids so pissed about being in flight school?
I would be
That
thrilled.
would be so awesome. I was like, let me go be in
I don't have to be
juvie
in
flight
jail with
school.
Boss
They
Hog.
took a bunch of
Seriously.
kids out of the freaking jail
Seriously.
system and said, "Who wants to be in flight school?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you
I was
guys.
there.
Oh,
The other
Chappie,
ones.
waking me up to go fly today. Oh, boo-hoo. Like, what is the hell's wrong with these teenagers? You know how I would have given, I told my wife, I said, I'd have given my left nut to be in this school.
It's like this is encouragement to start breaking the law young. That's what that was.
Yeah, why? They
kids
get
were
a
so-
decent bed. They get decent meals.
Yes, they get to fly airplanes. They
They
already
can
are
take
established
airplanes. They can
pilots.
take airplanes whenever they
Whenever
want.
they want.
Why would you bitch about waking
Seriously.
up to fly
Kids these
planes?
days. Kids in the 90s or whatever this
Seriously,
was.
I know.
Wrong
Like
with them.
Sheriff Wilcox showed up. He's like, "There's a bunch of BS," because it was.
Seriously.
Right.
Like, come on.
It's like, man, my life sucks worse than these kids' life.
Yeah.
And then Wheeler shows why the system is really flawed because she just, oh yeah, no, I'll totally take the plane to the competition, no problem. Flies it to her drug dealer to sell him what she's going to try and pass off as cocaine, but it's sugar in a bag because she wants money to get to Mexico. And this dude, this like snaggletooth looking dude,
Dude had like 3 teeth.
Well, what's so weird about that is the guy looked like he was just using drugs all the time
yeah.
himself. Like he could never sell anything because he's doped out of his mind.
Let's go find the first meth dealer
Yeah.
we can find
And
to
then
play this
all
guy.
of his goons are like properly dressed and
Right.
coiffed hair. They look great. He's got the nicest army surplus
Yes.
stuff you've ever seen in any army surplus store.
No.
He's got like 3 teeth and a.
And he's sitting on a trailer counting money. Why didn't he
One
put
of-
it
one
inside
of-
the building?
one of his front teeth,
Because then he doesn't get to blow it up later.
one of his front teeth look like it's trying to escape.
Can you blame it?
That guy's not even, his name's on there, but you can't even, I don't think he did anything else after
No.
this. He just kept doing methamphetamine after this movie. It's like, oh, you weren't supposed to actually use the drugs, Luke or whatever his name was.
The deal goes south because he goes, well, we got to test this cocaine, right? And she's like,
I would.
totally test it.
Do it.
Stupid scene too. too. Like she's not gonna test the cocaine. He's like, this is sugar. And then she's like, I'm gonna beat you up.
And then she
tiniest person in the room.
Shoves around 3 armed guys. Nobody shoots her. She runs back out and is able to get away because she throws a grenade into a bunch of barrels of liquid C4 from Demolition Man. Right. Did you see those things?
My
go?
wife did several times make the comments really great explosions.
The good
It's not, it can't be an Iron Eagle movie without movie without good
They
explosions.
do that well.
They do that well.
She left hooker kid, little Rudy, in the plane.
He fires it up, starts rolling.
She jumps in and off, and so she escapes, basically.
Here's the other thing.
Yeah.
They're the dumbest shooter people I've ever seen.
Well, if you
because they never actually shoot the plane.
No.
They shoot everything. They shoot armored cars. They shoot the ground. They shoot in the sky, but they never shoot the actual plane that would easily be shot.
But if you would, it's yellow. I mean,
You're not gonna miss it.
My wife's even like, probably shouldn't have a yellow plane, but they never even shot the yellow plane. It's like they got their bullets from 18 or something.
Same paint job as a Condor Man vehicle.
if you had ever hung around with any Army surplus guy, these guys like to go shooting, man.
Right,
Dude.
Oh yeah.
These guys were not a marksman.
What are those?
by any
The
stretch.
vehicle that he ran around in was like a all-terrain kind of a tank, but not really a tank.
Yes.
And later he has a tank.
He has
but
a real
like
tank later, but yeah.
We had like the Jeep with the gun on it or
like
something.
an armored
right? Yeah.
SWAT vehicle, kind of. It was crazy. All the toys this dude had.
Seriously.
You know.
And he couldn't hit an airplane.
Doug eventually, so she does take off and they escape, and Doug is now coming over in a T6 trying to find her, and finds her in the air. And because neither of them are armed, he's like trying to force her to go back, and they have like a dance off.
Yeah.
How did
basically.
he force her back?
I thought this was like the bicycle scene in Rad. You know?
Yes, at the prom where they
Yeah.
where they dance with the bikes, but with airplanes.
Right.
And she's like, "You're gonna go back. I'm doing a loop de loop. Oh, if you can do it, then I'll follow you." I mean, it's so stupid.
And then she gets, is this where she gets in a spin that wasn't really dangerous at all?
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
starts to spin. He's like, "Pull out of it."
Yeah,
Pull
I
out
do
of it.
scarier spins on my RC airplane than that plane was in. All she had to do was level the wings and
Yeah.
pull back, like Rudy said.
Eventually,
And it's like, oh, it's super dangerous. And he's giving her instructions. She's like, thank you.
She's a 15-year-old drug runner.
Yeah.
Eventually, Doug tells her, "All right, there's right here by us. There's an abandoned Air Force base. So land there, and I'm gonna chew you out, or whatever it's gonna happen there."
Yeah.
But it looks like, excuse me, but it looks like the Air Force is actually there digging up some canisters.
Yes.
Which we're not sure what that's about yet.
Yes.
Wheeler lands before Doug, and so the soldiers literally drive over with guns,
Yes.
machine guns, and the soldier look back at the commander like, "What should we do?" And Major Pierce says,
Just shoot her.
"Shoot him."
Shoot him.
So this is a trained American soldier.
Yes.
Gets up on the plane or the wing of the plane, and all she does is grab the barrel of his gun, and he goes flying off of.
Yeah.
And afterwards, I would just picture him going. I'm like, "She grabbed me in the gun, sir, and I fell off." Of the plane.
Explain yourself, soldier.
I was worried she had the finger in the barrel and it might blow up on me.
You see what happened? She stuck a banana in the barrel, sir,
That's right.
There's so many moments in this movie of children getting the upper hand.
against trained soldiers.
Trained soldiers.
Right.
The other thing I noticed too, this is the Army base, right?
Yeah.
It's like in the middle of a city.
It
There's
is.
like a cityscape in the back.
It's not abandoned at all, actually.
And so I'm like, there's a whole bunch of Army guys. They're digging in the ground. No one from that high rise that's clearly visible from the runway wouldn't be like, oh, I wonder
No.
what the Army's doing in the abandoned air base.
with the
digging in
telescope
ground.
looking down there.
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
in that hole?
Yeah.
No.
And there's airplanes, and now there's guns shooting. What's happening?
She's able to fly out of there.
Yeah, because
Doug,
again, no one knows to shoot actual airplanes.
No, these are soldiers. Doug swoops down and he's able, while he's going 150 miles an hour, able to read the letters on the sides of these canisters.
Yeah.
Later on, because when he gets
Yeah,
back
I
to
thought that
Chappie,
was
he tells
hilarious.
him
He's like, it looked like this.
it was a TXC, and then this was the serial number. I'm like, bro, you were flying.
He learned a little something from Cooper when he drew it out, just
You know what I immediately thought of with TXC or whatever
Yeah.
was the Rock.
Right.
The name of the gas in the Rock.
TX rockets is what they call. There wasn't a C, but it was TX. yeah.
Yeah, TX gas.
So one of the canisters, after Doug and the girl fly away and escape, one of the canisters activates, and we get a 48-hour countdown that one of these things is going to blow up. And did you guys notice there's this really nerdy soldier
Yeah,
that had the Coke bottle
I
glasses?
called them Corporal Coke bottles.
Yes, that guy's glass.
Do you know why they threw those glasses on him?
No. How'd you
That
know?
dude was a soldier from Iron Eagle 2.
Oh my God.
And Sidney Fury didn't want people to realize they reused one of the actors.
For Sydney to think people watch his movies that closely.
And
yeah. That's why though, huh?
that's why he was
Wow.
literally one of the soldiers on the U.S. Russian team or whatever.
Oh, okay.
They put together. Yeah. So, all right, the one canister activates. They got 40 hours, and he's like, "Oh, it takes 2 days to get these canisters to the doctor." So, isn't that cutting it close?
They flew from the flight school to the drug dealer
Yeah.
to this abandoned Air Force base.
Yes.
I don't know how long that took.
Yeah.
We'll say that. They later fly from the Air Force base, not the Air Force base, from the flight school to where the doctor is.
Yes.
Yes.
In the same 7.5 minutes. There's no 2 days truck ride.
No.
I had jump cuts are startling and confusing. I don't understand what's happening here.
I just want to know what terrain is in the
Yes,
middle of
yes.
this town that they have to drive all the way around, but they can fly right over.
2 days.
And
It's
let's
a
look for
2-day
trucks
train,
with
2-day
paintball marks
detour.
all
Yes.
over them.
So Doug lights them up with some of the paintball rounds and
Yeah.
he flies over, so they're marked.
That I kind of get. Not so much that they're marked, but I would get that, if a plane comes in strafing, it's still paintball rounds still sound like rounds.
Yeah.
Right.
You're thinking you're getting shot at. It's like, oh, paintball. After that move don't work no more.
No.
There was a great line here when he says, "We got 48 hours, isn't that cutting it close?" And Major Pierce goes, "God changed the face of creation in 6 days. Don't you think the Air Force can improve on his record?"
That was such a stupid line. I don't even understand what that means. No, you
means
can't
nothing.
enforce. You
means
can't improve
nothing.
on God's creation.
It means
It had nothing to do with creation
No, it had nothing
or
to do with
anything.
anything.
It's so
They
stupid.
had these stupid lines that were supposed to be deep and serious. Oh, God.
It's a Paw Patrol guy who doesn't know what to do.
it's a Paw Patrol guy writing this. Keep that
Seriously.
in mind.
All right, let's get back. All right, so we get this moment after Doug comes back, and Doug tells Chappie that he saw the writing on the side of the canisters that he zoomed by.
Oh,
It's
this is
TX.
also where you have the sound snooper guy with the giant thing. He's behind the wing.
spying
He's like,
on him, yeah.
look. But I'm like, that guy stands out more than anything else.
Chappie goes, "TXC, hold on." He literally we never know who he calls. He picks up the phone. He calls like an acronym expert or something.
Yes.
It's just like, "Oh, TXC stands for this. It's a biological weapon." Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, no.
And so we got to go tell the brass. We got to tell General Kettle about this. And Doug, this is like the third time already in this movie. Doug quits, right? He's like, "No, I'm out. I'm not
Yeah.
doing this."
Doug's like, I've had enough unauthorized
Doug's
missions.
out again. And this is one of the best lines in the movie to me. He says these words exactly to Chappie. "I'm sorry if I know you love the old Doug Masters." He goes, "I'm sorry if this Doug Masters disappoints you." And I'm like, is he talking to
That's
us?
hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, he might as well be talking directly to the audience.
Yeah, just look right in the camera and say that.
I'm
Doug.
sorry if this Doug Masters disappoints you, but I got paid to do this.
Yeah. I had to show up, Chappie. Lou Gossett Jr., we can't all be you.
See, this Doug Masters wasn't busy the weekend they filmed this.
All right, so the cops.
I was tired of him
my
whining.
gosh.
This was the Air Force people were listening. Oh, these
Yeah.
kids are a threat. They know too much.
So
Kill 'em
we find out they tell the cops to go shut down the school, basically. So,
Yep.
Sheriff Wilcox shows back up to round up the kids. He's got orders in his hand, legal orders from the governor.
Yeah, he says, "Oh, it looks all legal."
It's legal. Chappie's mad. but he lets
Chappie's
him
now a
do it.
lawyer.
Chappie
says,
had it's very little emotion about that.
Yeah.
I think he's like, I'm gonna
In
try
general.
my second class. These are lost cops. He's got his coffee. All right, Wheeler's on their way. Hope it works out for her.
Wheeler, that morning, right before the cops show up, had been trying to steal one of the planes to go to Mexico. Chappie was there to stop her. But then the cops roll up, and he basically goes, "Go ahead and take one of these planes. You better get out of here."
Or he just said go, not realizing
Right.
they take his
He's gonna
planes
take
all
a
the
plane.
time. Because he
Wheeler.
keeps fuel in him and the keys in him, apparently.
Take number 4. It's fully gassed
yeah,
up.
yeah, right.
So the Sheriff Wilcox rounds all the kids up, all the students up, all of them. There's 5. Like, well, there should be 100 students that signed up for this. There's 6.
Yeah.
5 of them are in the school bus, flanked by 3 police cars going down the road. Wheeler, in her T6 trainer, is going to follow the bus.
Yes.
Okay, and help her friends. So this is the problem for half the movie until
Yes.
they load them with live rounds. These planes can't do anything.
No. I would be intimidated by a plane coming towards me. But yes, they can't
For a
do
moment.
anything.
All she does
Right.
to help
Well, they
her
don't know
friends
this yet.
is she swoops
Well, yeah.
down, flies over the cop cars,
And
and
all
they
hell
crash.
breaks
And they
loose.
crash in
It's
3
like
different
they've
directions.
never driven cars before in any serious need.
They're like, "Oh, that plane came within 200 feet of
We
me."
should just crash into everything.
They hired stormtroopers to drive these cop cars.
She just buzzes the tower basically,
Right, yeah.
and they all
Right.
crash.
They all crash.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah.
terrible.
And they destroy the police cars. They just crash like careening off each other
right.
multiple ways like they're in a pinball machine.
It cuts back to the flight school. Chappie's literally sitting there drinking his coffee.
There was a pretty good line here.
What's that?
Dana, the African American.
Oh, yeah.
She takes Wilcox's
Oh
line.
yeah,
Yes.
the only good line in the movie.
She says, Wilcox sounds more like no cock.
No, he said, "Don't move, or you'll be no cocks."
No cock.
What move and you'll be Mr. No Cock?
But here's the
Best
other
line in the
problem with the
movie.
movie before that great line
Yes.
is that Dana had just said, I hate Wheeler.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't like her.
Yeah.
And then when Wheeler comes by, they're all like, yay, we love her. She's awesome.
No.
I'm like, they don't like each
That's
other.
how they
Right.
fixed the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, team bonding to
Yeah.
do
That was
mass
team bonding.
felonies and destruction.
Right.
It cuts back to Chappie drinking coffee at the flight school, and Doug pulls back in for
No reason.
he's just like, I'm back in, and for no reason. There's no like momentary
Should
like.
be counting how many times Doug Masters comes back in the
This
movie.
is the fourth time already in the movie.
Get us up to 4, Charles.
He's like, I'm back in here.
Yeah,
Hit
four.
the
Count
red
us up to
button.
4.
Is it Brooke?
Yeah, get us up to
3.
4 times.
All right.
Doug is back
Four
in.
times. He's back once more.
And the kids, you're right. The kids, there were
like-
2 cops on the bus with them. The other 3 cars crashed. They overpower Sheriff Wilcox and his other cop, take their guns and tie him up to a fence post, and they're going to take the bus
Yeah.
and steal it to drive back to the
To
flight.
get more planes.
Yes.
to get more planes. And they crash through the other cop cars again.
Dude,
Yeah.
that was my favorite scene in the movie, I think. When
Really?
They got this bus coming back up the street to these other cop cars. And it just, when you see
they
this thing
slow-mo'd it.
smack
Yes, it
into these cop
destroys the
cars,
cars.
destroying
Yes.
cars, it yanks the wheel out of the bus driver's hand
yes.
to full lock. And then,
I
oh
saw
my
that.
God, it was so
It was
good.
awesome.
I was like, that was a brutal real hit.
It
Yes.
was.
Like, legit, they wrecked those cars.
Yes, they
You mean
did.
that the clear adult man driving
Yeah.
that bus?
Right, yes.
Yes, I said bus driver, like professional bus driver.
They didn't even try and hide the fact that it would cut from the kids driving to this like 60-year-old stuntman.
Dude. But just watching the wheels and the reaction
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, oh, that's so good.
Good stuff.
Oh, man.
They
I love
come back, they
practical
crash into these
wrecks.
cop cars, and Chappie is giggling his ass off like he thinks
know.
it's the funniest
He's
thing.
so
They
crazy.
just robbed these cops, took their guns, blasted these cars, and he's like, ha ha ha, ha.
He thought it was funny. He's just like, woo.
Right. And then when they come back, he's like, give me those guns, you rascals. Get in the air. Get in the air.
Get in the air.
We got to get out of here.
I like the 90s Chevy Caprice.
Is that what they were
That was,
driving?
that was like the newest car in this
Yeah,
movie. The
it
rest
was.
of them were, I'm like, there's nothing newer in this movie than 1984.
What was the Buick convertible? Do you know? It was a nice Buick.
Nope.
though.
No.
It was. You don't have a Buick, man.
I wasn't watching that close on this one.
no.
I watched it, but I was like, I'm not going to go back and look
Yeah.
at the cars.
I thought convertible's cool.
All right. So Chappie takes them to go hide out with Crop Duster Lady. This is where they're going to hide out.
Yeah.
And when they get there and they're camoing the yellow airplanes by putting camouflage so they can't see the planes from the sky.
Because they just got done saying, this thing's stuck out. You're never going to be able to hide them anywhere. That's
right.
You got to camouflage these planes.
And they said, no,
Yeah.
we're not finding anything in the haystack.
And for
Hay on the plane.
for the 5th time in this movie, Doug is out again. Okay.
Yeah.
He tells Chappie, he's like, I can't do not yet.
Not yet.
he's
Oh,
not
it's
back
only
yet.
when he
That's when
comes
he's back
back
in.
Okay, I didn't peep anyways.
All right.
So again, Doug's like, I'm out again. And Chappie gives him one of his speeches, right?
Get the Chappie
about being a coward and all
Yeah.
that. And then he says, I thought I was going to save this for later, but I made a tape for you. And he hands him a cassette tape.
Here's your mixtape.
He's like, I had to crash a plane and everything just to record this. And hands it to him, but he doesn't listen to it yet. That's important.
There's so many oddly deep moments placed weirdly in this movie.
Yes.
And the timeline, you're like, wait, I thought we were supposed to be hurrying here, and we're having
No.
deep conversations about
Right.
life and past and histories and futures.
And then Doug goes back to wherever Doug goes, and we get the rest of the flashbacks about him being in
He
prison.
was out in the desert with ice.
Out in the desert with-
vanilla ice.
He's got to go think about some stuff.
We saw all the other. There's like in the snow. They're having. I mean, it's all these other flashbacks
Yeah.
of him being in prison and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to the next day, and Doug's back in again.
He's
baby.
back.
Put him on the
Like,
board.
let's go.
Number 5.
He
He's
rolls
coming
in.
back.
He's got Chappie's dress uniform with him.
Yeah, he does.
Right?
You forgot something.
It's just like,
You know why Doug keeps coming back? He's like, I gotta keep buying cigarettes. I gotta get paid. I'm smoking through these things so fast. I
Chappie
gotta get
pays.
a job. Chappie pays. I don't like
That's
it,
right.
but I gotta get another smoke.
So Chappy calls a team meeting, and this was for me, I was like, I was ready to go at this point. He's like, we're going after that convoy.
There we go.
It's unauthorized mission time.
Here we go.
Buddy. It's not an Iron Eagle movie if
Without
we're not
that.
flying an unauthorized
That's right,
mission.
man. You got to do something you shouldn't.
With children.
With children. Yes. Well, he did that before.
Back to our roots.
Yes, that's right. Back to our
That's what it should have been. Iron Eagle 4, back to our roots. Exploiting children. 4. This is ridiculous. And the problem with this of many problems is up to this point in the movie, they've shown them teaching these kids
No
nothing.
flying
Right.
skills.
No.
In fact, most of the flying is Rudy freaking out that they're all going to die.
Right.
Yeah, Rudy's like,
Wheeler, no,
has
you're
his
going to kill
inhaler
us.
in his mouth half the time.
What's changed? Because they just lost to those Air Force kids,
Yeah.
and nothing has happened since
No, it's very
then. Now they're going to be
confusing.
ready to fly this unauthorized mission.
Yes.
Against not Air Force kids.
Yes.
But Air
Actual
Force-
Air Force,
Air Force
soldiers.
pilots.
No Doug Master simulators.
No.
Nothing.
Not once did they get in a simulator and listen to music.
No.
We're supposed to be like, you've taught them nothing. They already knew how to fly when the movie started.
Yeah.
We've shown them a montage of him not giving a crap, showing them nothing. But like, you know what, guys? I feel like we're ready.
Here,
to do
we're
this.
ready. Let's do
We
it.
buzzed a couple buses and some Jeeps. We're ready to go now.
So Chappie divides them into 3 teams. And again, just to make this needlessly complicated, there's intelligence, supply, and recon.
Yes.
Let's do intelligence first.
Yeah.
There was no intelligence. Next.
Supply, we're going to steal some laundry off of somebody's
Yeah.
back clothesline in their backyard and take their Jeep. And you got to go. Well, here's the first one we'll tackle was Doug and Wheeler had to go get real live ammo to load into the
From
T-60.
the
Yep.
She's like, I know a
Snaggletooth-
guy.
Yeah.
Snaggletooth drug dealer.
This scene, you're right. He's in this trailer. It's completely empty. It's just the trailer for his money. He just
Yes,
sits
he's
in
just
there.
got a money trailer.
It's just his money trailer. It's like a folding chair and his money.
And it's a crap old trailer. Like it's a tow behind.
There's a crap old
Like,
trailer,
and you're
95 when
wondering
they
why
make-
the other 5 guys aren't walking in there
Seriously.
stealing money like they take airplanes in this movie.
Good grief.
So Snaggletooth, drug dealer guy, in this scene, looks like he's cosplaying as a vampire from the WWF's Brood.
He's Gangrel.
It looks like it's ridiculous. And Wheeler and Doug Masters come in, and they're able to, before anyone notices, they're taking these giant boxes of ammunition out of the back, and they're making a couple trips, and then finally the guards inside see them and start shooting rounds off at them.
Yep.
And they run out of the building, and they do not follow them out of the building.
No.
They just start loading up their truck, and the guards never come out and keep firing.
No.
Nope.
Why
Just
would
like,
you do
oh,
that?
Because they know there's a guy with a
There's
tank
a-
out there.
There was a plot force field
This guy's
at
a
the
really,
door.
Yes.
this guy is a really crappy shot with that tank, all right?
After they load up the Jeep, you're right. Now Gangrel comes out in his tank.
Nice Sherman tank, though.
It was
It's a
beautiful.
nice tank, yeah.
All the surplus stuff was in really
That was
tipped out.
nice. Yeah, that was one of the best parts of the movie.
How
was
does
that
this
stuff.
sugar dealer have
Seriously.
a tank and all this
I know.
other stuff?
In,
And he
like,
can't afford
tip-top
better
condition.
clothes.
I know.
Well, he's saving his
Well,
money.
Yeah, he's saving his money. Putting his money in things he loves, you know.
And it's not
Invest in
orthodontia
your
and clothing.
No. He's like, that ship sailed. No chick's going to be into me. I'll just buy a bunch of guns and tanks and Jeeps.
Chicks dig guns.
And bolo ties over a t-shirt. It's ridiculous. These guys, it's some hacky filmmaking. And I feel bad saying that about Sidney Fury because Iron Eagle 1, he made that and that was great. But this is just hack stuff. They load up the Jeep. That's when the tank pulls up like crap. And to get away from the tank, they're literally driving in a circle. In fact, Wheeler even says, we're not going to get away driving in a circle.
Let's not go in a circle. Do something.
Yeah.
Until the point where the tank blows up his own money trailer.
Yes.
They do the Predator, like slap hands,
Yep.
arm wrestling in the
Right.
air thing.
They
And that's it. They never show them escape or leave or anything because the tank's still fully operational.
Right.
Just the next time we see Doug Masters and Wheeler, they're just like, we got the ammo.
we got ammo.
Would he just like blew up his money trailer and got so sad that
I
he
think
just
so,
Yeah, I think he just got sad.
let them leave?
He's
Maybe
like,
he ran out of
driving
rounds.
the tank and shooting the tank is hard. I should have got one of my goons to help me with one
Well,
of the aspects
driving a
of
tank and
this.
shooting a tank is not a one-man job.
No.
Right.
It's a three-man job.
All you need is one shot while the guy's going, oh, my money. one shot of them blowing through a gate
Going through a gate
or something and getting out of
They
there.
didn't. Why would you do that in this movie? Haven't done anything like that yet.
Just recycle one from one of the
Just
other movies.
jump to another scene.
Accidentally used the footage from out in the Middle East from the first movie of the Jeep blowing through the fire trail.
Yeah, something.
All right, now while
They did
that's
that with some of the
happening,
flight scenes, actually. Wrong planes. I was super
did.
mad about that.
while this is going on, Chappie and computer hacker Kitty
Meow, meow.
sneak into a military base by escorting toilet paper.
Yep. Somebody's got to do it.
It's a dirty
Can
job.
I just say, are Air Force guards and people, are they so unaware of their own generals that they don't know that
Well,
this
there's
general...
many generals that maybe don't frequent their base often.
And how
I don't
often
know.
come
and a
with
retired general.
toilet paper and they make jokes about it?
There's pictures of the commanding officers of that base all over that base.
Yeah.
They know who their generals are.
Well, that's my thing. But how do you get generals, retired generals from some other base just come in and it's like, oh, hey, general, you're just looking at stars.
Yeah.
They're
I
not
don't
looking
know.
at faces.
Right.
Yeah.
Just
I
It's
don't
not
know.
like the bad guys might try subterfuge or something. Maybe we should be trained a little bit.
All you got to do is look at their shoulders.
Yeah.
Just
How many
that's
stars
the
they got?
training they get.
that's
Just look
it
at the
right
shoulder.
there.
Don't question the number of stars.
Because Chappie just pulls up to the gate and he's
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
like you said, hey, General, what are you hauling back here? He's like, bathroom supplies, toilet paper. Somebody's got to do it. And they're like, oh, that checks out.
Yeah. Good.
Unfettered access to our base.
And
The
base-
men's room's been out for 3 days.
Yeah.
Bring it in.
Yeah, and the base just looked like a business building.
That's because
The
it was.
background. It wasn't
That's
like a
because it was.
military building or
It was
anything.
a Vindicator lab.
It was from the same corporate park they filmed the Russian crash on. But it was, dude.
Well, you know the U.S. Air Force was involved with this.
I feel like there was a street light.
you
in
don't
that shot.
you don't say.
Yeah, because they didn't want to do 2. They certainly are going to do 4.
Right.
They're Israeli jets again. They probably reused footage from number 2, actually.
So they sneak into this computer office with Kitty, and Kitty starts to hack the mainframe of the base.
On that Apple IIe.
Computer. And it's like all bubbles and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it was really weird.
On the second try, you're like, oh, try this. Didn't work. Try this. No, that's it. Got in on the second try.
Try in whatever
Just
Chappie's.
uses Chappie's old login.
Yeah.
We didn't hack nothing. We just logged in. Like, really?
It was
That's what I-
it was just
that's what I do
First thing
every
they
morning.
do when you leave is they take away your login.
Every morning when I go into the store, I go to count out the drawer and I got to log into the point of sale and I'm like,
Yeah.
hack the system. That's what they did.
They take away your login after you leave now because of Chappie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's Chappie's the one that ruined it for
Chappie
everybody.
Tricked us all. We never thought he'd use his old password.
As they're hacking this in another room, the Air Force intelligence guys that have been trying to figure out what's going on realize someone else is hacking into this.
Yes.
In the building. They're in the building.
In the building.
And they're trying to hightail it and get the stuff downloaded. And they have the fastest dot matrix printer of all time.
Yeah.
That Matrix
Those
printer
of you
had a
don't
jet
know.
engine in it.
They have the little holes on the side of the paper. Remember those?
The tractor.
Yes, yes.
Famously slow.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, hit print. And like 3 seconds later, she's ripping off the whole page. Like, I'm sorry. Of all the ridiculous things, this is the one that I
was
can't
the
live
It
with.
is the U.S. Air Force. They probably had the fastest printers.
Of the dot matrix printers.
Yes. By 95, those weren't even in use very much. I don't
No,
think they were anymore. I
a
graduated
little
high
bit.
school.
They were a little bit, but not.
No.
On the military, definitely. They're behind
That's
everything.
probably true.
So,
We definitely still had those in high school.
we did.
Oh,
yeah.
hell yeah.
For sure.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That's in 97.
They definitely were. Yeah.
Was it? Okay.
They get to the door to escape.
I was in California, so probably a little higher.
and Blonde Boy is in
I don't know
the
about
Jeep.
higher class, maybe a little more technology, but definitely not higher class.
Hey, I was in the
Sorry,
rich part
we
of
were in a
California.
poor neighborhood.
I was
Yeah,
not. I was a
didn't. We
poor
all
kid.
didn't have a Steve Jobs exporting printers
Yeah,
to our
exactly.
school.
Well, I'll just say it this way: I was middle to lower class in a very, very rich school.
Okay. You just lived in the right border, within the
did.
right borders.
I did.
That's fair.
Yes.
We were in Antioch, Illinois, my friend.
Yes.
That's true story.
And so
I was in Racine, Wisconsin. So
we
My
still
friends,
had our payphones had a crank on the side of them.
my friends lived on hills
Okay, perfect.
overlooking
Wow.
the pools.
overlooking the
Poors,
Iron Eagle, Iron Eagle set.
Actually, we were very close to El Toro Marine Corps Air Station. It was very cool.
All right, so Chappie and Kitty are trying to get out of there with their, now they got their dot matrix printout, and they get to a locked door that's been sealed off. And so
So stupid.
It's got no doorknobs.
Look
I think it was
around
just
for something. You can do it.
I think it was just
kept
closed.
thinking,
Find something.
Find something. You can find something.
Not that it's not a Jeep that has all kinds of stuff to yank doors off.
I thought of immediately the line from Galaxy Quest. I know what happens. You construct like a rudimentary lathe. he finds a chain. He's like, this will work. Good job.
Wraps a chain around the door.
I'll throw you a Scooby snack later.
He's got metal bars in the window they're talking through. He wraps a chain around that to the Jeep.
Why?
Yanks the door off.
Why are there metal bars in an open
exactly.
window?
They had
on
to
an
have something to
exterior
yank it off with.
I get
so
that.
stupid.
But it's an exterior
Seriously,
door
it's like
into
a
a
loading
sealed
dock.
Into a
inside
warehouse.
door. So like, we're going to put prison bars on this door window instead of a window.
Yes.
Windowless, right? So like the air could just
Yes,
come in.
I thought
Right.
that too. Why did they have windowless doors?
Blonde boy yanks the door off. They get in the Jeep, and a
How'd the
soldier.
security guard jump on that?
Well, he just runs to the
He
Jeep.
ran out and fell off the loading
Yeah,
dock
he didn't know
onto
the
it.
door was down there. He ran out, was about to shoot him, and then
then
he
they
went
s-
skitching.
Yeah, they drove off with the Jeep and it knocked him down onto it.
Did
So
you
this
see the
dude's-
scene where he goes flying around and actually falls off?
Dude, he
and then they
almost
like
died.
cut back to it and he's back on it fully.
Yeah.
You're like, I think they had a cut shot
They're
there.
dragging this soldier on top of a door across his whole military base. Dudes are running around with machine guns. Nobody fires a single shot
No.
Well, they don't want
They
to
even
hit the
drive.
guy on the door.
on the door that's way behind them.
It's like, wait, no, that's one of ours.
That's They even drive past where the Soviets were holding Doug Masters, and nobody fired a shot there either. So
I wanted the guy to be standing. I wanted to be like, that would have been awesome.
and the waterfall
outtake?
from
Wrong guys.
Wrong guys, yeah.
Right.
That was so bad.
Chappie is now being pursued, but they make it to another base where General Kettle is, like it's home base in a tag match or something. Oh, you can't get me. No, I'm here.
Yeah, right.
With the general.
He's tagged in, yeah.
And now we're going to cut away from that for a second. Meanwhile, see how much, there's so much going on.
What's going on?
Rudy, the hooker kid, and Dana, okay, angry girl, are chasing the truck convoy that's supposedly taking 2 days to get to wherever they're
Yep.
going
Yes.
Yeah, they got there in 5
with these
minutes.
biological weapons.
But they're all in the same. Never mind.
They caught up to this truck
Right,
convoy.
they've had a 2-day head start.
Yeah.
because we're working on the last 20 minutes
right.
of this 48-hour countdown.
So Dana and Rudy are flying above them, and Rudy goes, "We'll force them off the road just like Wheeler did to the cops."
Right.
And this, I laughed out loud. They come down and buzz this military convoy. Like, remember how it made all those cop cars crash?
Yeah.
And it buzzes right over them, and all the soldiers are like, okay.
Yeah.
like, they don't even blink.
No.
Right.
They
No,
just
it's like-
stand there like,
We get F-14s doing that. No big
problem.
deal.
Is that where he gets out the big 50
he
cal
gets out
too?
the big,
Yeah.
like, giant machine gun, like the belt-fed machine
Didn't
gun.
he say like 60 cal? Is there a 60 cal?
I don't know. That's what he said.
I don't know.
But he
There is.
Is there?
As it comes back, as the plane comes back around, Major Pierce hip fires this giant machine gun.
Yeah.
Misses
Rambo
everything.
style. Hits the plane.
Manages to hit a plane.
the plane
Oh,
is
that's right. He did hit
smoking.
the plane this time.
The first person that ever shot at a plane is like, holy crap, this is effective.
I mean, you can shoot those things
With bullets.
with bullets.
The
Never
stunt,
crossed my mind.
he hits it. The stunt pilot flips on the smoke machine because the smoke's coming out the back.
And I noticed immediately when they show the smoke, the gear already down.
Yeah, gear's already down. They're like, we got to take this thing down, and they crash landed on a landing strip.
Yeah.
See, that T6 being a training plane,
Yeah.
it probably had automatic gear. So as soon as
Yes.
it senses smoke,
right.
it's like, oh, hey.
That
gear
did
down.
remind me of the scene in the first movie where Doug was trying to land his plane in the beginning and he had the terrible landing even though he was on the airstrip.
Yes.
So
Right.
it was good.
Yeah, yeah.
flashback
True.
to
It was
that
good.
moment. Yeah.
So the soldiers are pursuing. Now the plane is landed. It's, again, just Dana and Rudy, the hooker kid. Soldiers pursuing Jeeps. Now, as Rudy and then Dana get out and take off on foot. And then this is, again, just hacky filmmaking. I'll lay this out and you guys can tell me what you think, okay?
Yeah. Yep.
They first show the Major Pierce, the guy that was hip firing before. He sees Rudy and Dana running. He takes his Uzi, fires a single shot, and takes out Rudy. Then he kind of sits back in his Jeep. The next thing they never show him leave.
No.
The next thing they show is the other planes. Here comes Doug, everybody else landing. They all get out and run to see Rudy, who's on the ground.
They don't shoot more?
Then there's just some random soldier running
who's
through the
that guy?
grass.
Doug had a shotgun.
And Doug goes and captures that guy.
So it's like everybody left somewhere between when Doug and them got there, when the other planes got there. Everybody's gone, but this soldier got left behind. Like he was just hiding. He's like, oh crap, more planes.
Because it was just two Jeeps that pulled up. Nobody got out of the Jeeps.
He was probably taking a leak. He's like, wait, guys, you forgot me. I was in the bush. I had to go. I'm sorry.
But why? Okay, you took the time to shoot this kid.
Yeah.
There was another kid there.
Yeah.
He obviously wasn't finished off because you clipped him in the leg or whatever. Why wouldn't you stay and finish him off?
He doesn't shoot again. They never show him again. They don't show him leaving.
I know. You know what? I know why. Because they didn't have Fortnite where you got to go and finish him off.
Right.
No reason.
So
I was very impressed he could shoot him with an Uzi one shot.
one shot
That's
from that
pretty
far away. He
impressive Uzi
sighted him and everything.
Well, yeah, he probably flipped it to, single shot
But
mode. And
single shot.
Again,
I'd only ever seen anyone do this with Uzi, so I didn't know
This
they could
other
shoot
guy
one bullet
run-
at a time.
this other guy running away makes no sense.
No,
I
where'd
get
he
when
come
Doug
from?
and these other planes show up. All you need is a shot of Pierce going, let's get out of here, and the Jeeps leave. But that still doesn't explain random soldier guy running through the grass. Other than we need him to capture somebody.
he was pissing behind the tree. So they,
So that's the best
He was,
explanation.
he was drinking one of the good juices before combat.
Oh my gosh. So they've got one of these Air Force soldiers captured,
Yes.
and tied up in a barn somewhere. I do love that Doug's first form of torture is telling people his backstory.
Yeah, I know. I
Thank
really
you,
need to go
Doug.
see a therapist. It's like, yeah, thanks for telling us everything about your life.
The first thing, it doesn't work. He tells him to get bent, or he says, bite me. Right?
yeah.
Do you know anything about psychological warfare?
And he goes, oh, look, wasps.
You mean honeybees?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
Those were definitely not wasps.
Which I was going to let him have a pass. But then when he brings the wasps over to the guy, he literally goes, these aren't just like any bees. They're wasps. I'm like, except that they're bees.
They're honeybees that we just got from this farmer down the road.
They'll explode your eyeballs.
I noticed that.
I've
Can
seen
sting
that.
4 or 5 times, and that many bees will kill a man.
Oh my gosh. And then,
Like, ask me a question. You haven't asked me any questions.
That's the first thing my wife was like, those aren't wasps, right? I'm like, no, they're honeybees. They won't sting anybody unless you're poking their nest and going for the queen.
oh
That
my
guy was
gosh.
so afraid, and ask me a
like,
question, ask me anything.
He's like, literally,
He should
I'll
maybe
tell
win
you
my
anything.
intensity award. And then the girl asked him the questions. Doug
Right.
doesn't even do it.
And then he goes, the convoy's going to Craig Air Force
We get
Base.
our expo dump.
This is where they're going. This is what they're driving. This is what their wives' names are. So get them on the phone, make sure they're there.
Here's their social security numbers.
So we know the convoy's going to Craig Air Force Base.
Yes.
Now, we'll cut back now to what's happening with Chappie. Chappie is with General Kettle, who seems unsettled by the intelligence that they've uncovered from the computer hacking. And so General Kettle says to Chappie, let's go drive and see the doctor in these paint-splattered Jeeps. We'll get over there.
Right.
And she'll tell us all the stuff about the biochemical weapons. And I'm like, Chappie, have you actually watched an Iron Eagle movie?
All the generals are
They
bad.
always double-cross
They
him
do.
in every single
Every
one of these
single
Chappie's
one.
like, well, that won't be this one
Won't
this
be this
time.
one. It
They
can't
even had
be.
the guy in the jogging suit again, like they did in the third one. Remember?
True, you're right. He was in the
He
jogging-
did. He was in a jogging suit. He's like
Bro.
toweling off, like just got done with his workout, his 5K or whatever
Well,
he
that
was doing.
set up his running in the end scene. You're like, that
thing.
chubby dude's running down the road. Where's he going?
Same
I don't
thing.
know. Well, yeah, he forgot he jogged before.
And so he's like, "You killing babies now, Brad." Brad, basically outs himself as like General Kettle. I'm the mastermind behind this whole thing.
Yep.
Go see
I'm-
Dr. Gully.
I'm the bad guy in this movie. We're going to go see the doctor.
Yes. She was awesome.
And then now they have the information. Doug is out again. Doug quits for the 6th time in this movie.
Oh, man. Doug
what
finally's done this time,
the
I think.
hell?
This is
For
it.
real, he's out.
He's
He's
out
not
this
coming
time.
back.
He's
Has to
telling
be
me
out
that.
this time.
He's telling the
out.
kids, we're not going in
Not
there.
going
We're not
in.
going to
No,
do this.
We're not.
He tries to call Chappie to tell him what's going on.
Oh, we're not doing Chappie.
The general is the one who answers Chappie's phone and says, go ahead and keep being a coward, Doug.
Yeah.
That's what you're good at, being a coward.
Yeah, that was great.
And you shouldn't have done that because he lit a fire because
Yes,
Doug Masters
Doug
is
came
back,
back.
baby.
Doug Master's back.
That's right.
Yes.
He's back. He's back. Doug is back. He's back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was
Thank-
as awkward as the movie.
Yeah, we suck at that. All right.
All right.
Jump cut that one, James.
Take two.
Like you redo the take with 3 completely different people and just splice it in for the YouTube and then go right back.
Just jump cut it, yeah.
Oh, man.
Like get Madela in here.
Yeah.
He's
for
like,
Ryan.
"Where's the cassette player? I gotta strap it to my leg. We're going
Seriously,
in
finally,
together."
that was the first question I asked when I realized Bucky was Doug, with Duster was Doug, and Doug was
He's like,
whatever else.
Wheeler, get my tape player.
Where's
We're
my
going
tape
in.
player?
What's a tape player?
Yeah, seriously.
that's a 95. They still had Walkmans.
Well, you know, the CD
All right.
players would skip a lot.
That did. They did.
That's what Doug should have had, one of those CD players on his thing.
And then you have to wait for it to buffer every time you hit something. It's like, grrr.
Little
We had
turbulence.
one of the first ones that had a mounting plate that would supposedly would absorb the
Yeah.
hits. It didn't.
Oh,
work.
it never
It was
worked.
a Sony. It was seriously metal plate though. Yeah.
General Kettle reveals to Chappie that their target is Cuba. That's where they're going to drop these biological
Get rid of them
weapons.
damn commies finally.
And,
Well, at least we named a country in this one.
Yeah,
And
that's,
then he
that's true.
tells-
You're
we
right
named
about
a
that. We
country.
have a country. in
Yeah.
this one.
he literally, General Kettle tells Chappie that he's doing this all because he's such a big fan of Iron Eagle 1.
That's true. He says, you did it.
legitimately it.
You motivated me.
Iron Eagle
I
1.
love
So
you
I'm
so
doing it.
much.
You inspired me when you just said, cut the bureaucrats out, cut all the red tape out.
That's right, Chappie.
We're just going to take care of business. And they try to lock Chappie and Kitty and Blonde Boy, and they find the doctor, and she's got like this bubble room
Yeah.
where the canisters are, and she, takes the one that was going to go off and fixes it. And they try to lock them in this bubble room with the doctor, but they break out of it in like 1 minute after the general leaves and just doses the doctor
Seriously.
with smallpox
That
or
was an
whatever
awesome
the stuff
scene.
is.
Right.
And she goes for it.
Goes for it. That's the best death. The death was so great.
It's the hands on the window,
Yes. Yeah.
scraping downward as she
down.
dies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I had to give it up for her.
We don't have to vote for most intense.
No,
That was awesome.
I don't think we
was
have
a
to
good
vote
one.
for that.
They call it Pandora.
That's right. That's
Pretty
the
good
name of the.
Pretty good
Pandora.
name for releasing a virus. Pretty good.
Chappie, they'll run out. Chappie judo flips a dude, puts the APB out on. He's like, they're going to strike Cuba. They're going to whoever can hear this,
Yeah.
Yep.
It goes across the intelligence radios, all that stuff, that they're going to strike Cuba. And at this point, Blonde Boy and Kitty are sneaking onto the C-130
Yes.
that is taking off with the bioweapons
Right.
to
Yep.
go drop them on Cuba. So now
And we already got 3 jets in the air.
3 jets in the
jets
air
in
at this
there.
point because
Yep.
Doug flew in. And this is what we're going to get to here at this point. And pointless sidetrack before we get to this. And I call this pointless because it ultimately goes nowhere. Rudy, who was shot, if you remember, Hooker
Yep.
Kid,
Yep.
as this APP goes out, you hear Rudy is somehow in a parking lot next to an intelligence car.
Shot in the leg,
Yeah.
but in a sling.
He's in a sling.
Yeah.
Okay.
My wife said that. I thought he was shot in the leg.
He was.
I guess.
He makes a miraculous recovery.
He can walk.
Because
It's a miracle.
he steals this car out. He gets out of the wheelchair, steals the Air Force intelligence guy's car
Yes.
with both of his arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, now he's driving
Both arms,
10
yeah.
and 2.
But he's still got the sling hanging to it a little bit there. He's holding on to him.
But the reason it's pointless because by the time Rudy gets there, the movie's over.
Yeah,
Like
right.
he doesn't do
Yeah, he
anything
doesn't
when he
do
gets
that.
there. But I wanted to at least
Excited
let
to
you guys
drive the
know.
car.
All right, and so we get this fighter pilot who is taxiing out and doesn't notice this T6 is
Landing.
taxiing down and landing
Yeah.
right
Yeah,
towards him.
playing chicken.
Until he finally realizes and gives maybe the worst shocked acting take I've ever seen.
Right.
He's just like, "Eh?"
Yeah.
It was hilariously bad.
Yeah, and it wasn't F-16 he was in either.
What do you know what that
like
was?
A Tiger or whatever. That
Okay.
was the T5 Tiger or something.
There were supposed to be
F5s.
4 planes that were escorting the C-130.
They
And
were
so
all supposed to be, I think, F-16s.
Major Pierce, the guy that was shooting kids before,
Yes.
is in one of the planes and 2 of the other soldiers are in the other ones. Now there's only 3 because Doug Masters hijacks this fighter jet. So now he's got a legit fighter jet.
Got a real fighter jet.
Do you think that Pierce wasn't supposed to be flying, but he like went and grabbed one of the other pilots and like, give me your flight suits?
Maybe.
I was like,
Seems
Suddenly-
like that kind of guy.
yeah.
We see that Malcolm and Dana are. Sorry. We see that Malcolm and Dana are flying after the 3 fighter jets that are escorting the C-130. Okay. They start to dogfight with the Air Force pilots.
Right.
So
Yes.
stupid.
this is
My missiles don't work. Why wouldn't your missiles work? There's a lot of heat coming off of those engines.
Well, the problem is they're engaging from too close with a target that's going too slow, and by the time they get into missile lock, which takes time, they've flown past it and are too close for missiles.
Right.
So you go farther away for the
Yeah.
12 seconds it's going to take you to get far enough away. I don't know.
You throw the
I'm just gonna
afterburner
use
on for a minute,
Yeah.
a couple seconds, and
Right. He says, come around, glide down slowly, and light them up from
You
there.
don't
or
even have to
whatever.
glide down slowly. Just get 5 miles away, turn towards them, and shoot.
So Major Pierce is not in this fight. He's continuing with the C-130. He sends the other 2 fighter jets to go fight Malcolm and Dana.
These 2
and their
T6
planes.
trainers should
These
be
2
cake.
T6s.
The
should
Simpsons
be
did
cake.
that better when Homer stole the Wright flyer, and the pilots just got out and they're just walking on the ground trying to grab the Wright flyer because they were in like F-16s. They're like, the bogey's too slow. We're gonna land and walk to catch him, and they're just walking behind.
Suddenly, Malcolm gets shot. Okay, his plane gets shot, and then through the plane, he is shot.
Yes.
And he goes, and his acting is so bad. He's like, "Oh no, I'm shot. Take over, Dana." He says, "Take over."
Dana, I'm hit. Take over.
All of a sudden, one of the fighter jets, he's about to finish them off, goes, someone's got missile lock on me, but they don't have any missiles.
Yes.
Cut to Doug Masters, but I do, asshole.
yeah.
Blow up the classic Iron Eagle explosion.
They reused that
Yes.
shot.
Oh yeah.
Looked like it.
It looked exactly like every blow up
They
shot.
wore that one out.
I was actually happy. As much as we made fun of that shot in the first one,
It was better than
which is
anything
just
else.
like a vertical plane
Right.
Yes.
blowing up.
Yes.
I was so thrilled that was still in there. Made me feel like I was watching an Iron Eagle movie.
Right.
Doug
Yep.
Masters. After that, and then
I'm Doug Masters' asshole.
he tells him, now after he blows up these 2 guys, he tells Dana, go after the C-130. I'm going to go take care of Major Pierce.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Dana goes, what about Malcolm? And Malcolm goes, oh, I'm fine now. Let's go.
What about Malcolm? Let's go. I witnessed this for the world. All right, let's do it.
He was shot by a fighter jet.
I just used my Predator med kit and
was
got all healed up.
It was probably just like a 22 round
22
from that.
round, yeah,
It's no
yeah.
big
He
deal.
didn't get shot by a BB gun.
Right. Ow.
He was
Yeah,
just shot by an
fine.
F-16.
Maybe it was paintballs in those F-16s. Like, dang, we forgot to load
they
the
were
real
frozen,
The little
so it-
soap, it came right off.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was frozen, so it hurt real bad.
I know we joke around about no cells, but this is an all-time
No,
no
it's an
cell.
all-timer.
That
This is
whole
a written
sequence.
no
was like-
cell. This isn't the actors sucked. This was a written no
Because he
cell.
literally looked at his hand. Oh, I've been shot.
Right.
Like
They
maybe he had it written a line
Not only
written
were
on
the
his
kids
hand.
terrible, the Air Force guys were. Everyone was terrible in the scene. It was awful dialogue, and just the acting was terrible.
Here's the good news. It's almost done.
There's good news.
It's almost over.
That is
That's
the
the
good
good
news.
news. All right.
The general calls Doug Masters. Okay, General Fatty is still down. Kettle, whatever his name is.
Close enough.
Calls Doug Masters to try and call him off. And Chappie, who's been recaptured since he put the APB out,
Yeah.
yells from behind, "Listen to the tape, Doug!"
Yeah.
From
Is
behind.
that when he hits him on the head?
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
and Lou Gossett Jr. goes like, oh.
He was mildly inconvenienced.
My
by
own
it.
inconvenience. It's like, oh, I should fall down,
He
but I'm kind of
pistol
old
whipped to
now.
the back of the skull, and it's just like, oh, I should fall
I
now.
should fall.
Ugh.
But you know, in his mind, he's going, I'm too old for this crap. And it hurts
Right.
when I get down like this. I'm just going to do it really slow.
But writing is
I'll fix it in post.
Yeah.
Speed it up.
I'm going to put my stunt double in there. Yeah, speed it up.
Can I get a stunt? No, Chappie, it's Lou. We can't afford a stunt
Can't
double.
afford a stunt double.
He's gonna pistol whip you, and all I need you to do is fall on the ground.
Oh, very, very
I
slowly.
can't do that. I got
can't do that.
knees. My knees. He's like, what if I just kind of crumple a little bit? I stand.
Yeah, I'll crumple. You speed it up.
Cut away real
I
fast
would
or
have been
something
so
else.
happy to sped that up. I would have believed something happened to him.
And then do one of those famous jump cuts you've been doing all
Yeah,
movie would be good.
exactly.
All right, so he yells, "Listen to the tape" to Doug Masters. Here's my thing: writing is free. That doesn't cost you anything.
No.
And so dramatically, this is all out of order because at this point, Doug's already decided to
Yes.
come back and kick ass.
They're already
Yes.
in it.
And he's already blown up. He's already got the fighter jet.
Yeah.
It would make more sense to have him listen to the tape and then go steal the fighter jet, get
Yeah.
back up there and save the kids.
Right.
Like
Now
he's
he
flying around in
listens
a
to it.
T6. They're feeling a little bit
Yeah.
defeated. We can't take on these planes. Listen to the tape, Doug.
Right.
Right.
And so he listens to the tape, and now he's like, now I'm ready to go. But he already was ready to go.
Yeah, he already was.
Do you know what I'm saying?
And miraculously, that fighter jet he commandeered had a tape player in it.
Yeah.
He had it in his leg. He just taped, like, there's got to be one. He's in the trunk of the fighter jet.
Where's the
Gotta be a
Doug Master?
cassette.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that.
Do you want me to read you the speech?
Please. Oh, do you have it?
I got it.
For the Chappy
Yeah.
speech? Hit me
Chappy,
with it.
this is the tape. This
Yes.
is what he said.
The Chappy.
He said this. What did he say? He says, delivering hey, Doug. Hope you're not too angry or too busy to listen now. If I had known you were alive, nothing in the world could have stopped me from getting you out. All reports said you were dead. If I didn't look further, it was because it hurt so much to look at all. You know, I remember when you first came to me with your harebrained scheme to rescue your father.
It's like he's
You
here.
were a boy with a boy's contempt for the impossible. But you believed. And before long, you got me to believe too. Well, I still believe. I believe the Doug Masters I knew then is alive and well. He just lost his contempt for the impossible. Nothing is impossible, Doug, if you believe in who you are.
That's right.
And who you've always been.
Yeah.
Just call me Michael Bublé because I believe.
I believe you can fly. I believe you can shoot down bad guys. You did it when you were 16. You can do it now that you're a smoker, drunk guy.
All right, it kind of fell apart there at the end, but awesome.
We got the Chappy tape. We got the speeches. We got him slapping the jukebox.
Got him everything.
Only
All
thing
you
that
need.
we missed is one time in this movie, I just wanted Chappy to yell at somebody about how long he's been in the frickin'
Oh,
Navy.
it's true.
22
Air Force.
goddamn
Yeah,
years.
that's right. He didn't say that.
That's the only thing I was missing.
I've been teaching these kids for 3 goddamn months.
Now look at him.
Right? He gave that speech to end the Cold War in Iron Eagle 2 when he's
Yep.
waving Uzis around.
Yeah.
Waving Uzis. Everybody's throwing their patches on the ground.
Doug then goes
Man,
up.
this movie makes those look good. That was a good moment. I remember that moment in that movie. I enjoyed that moment.
And
Get
that
a whole
movie
new
was
appreciation.
terrible.
Yes, it was,
It was awful.
Part 2 was
At least I believe those guys liked
But
each other.
here's the
even though they
thing.
were from all different countries. And
I know it's because we watched this most recently. I legitimately think in 3 months, we're all going to be sitting here again, having watched some other streaming turd. Like, do you remember that awesome moment in Iron Eagle 4 when it's going to happen eventually?
Remember when Doug Masters put that tape in?
back in.
Remember when he quit and came back six times?
Remember when Chappie took a gun to the back of the head and fell down slow? That
Fell down real slow.
was way better than this scene.
All right, so he's got the tape deck. Here's my big problem. Where are the tunes?
Yeah.
How do you have them come back
They
and not
couldn't
listen
afford
to
it.
No.
That's got to be the
They
reason.
had
That
to
has
pay
to be.
for them songs.
Because it was such a big part of Iron Eagle
that
1.
was a
Yeah,
big
it was.
part of Iron Eagle 1.
Something, even if you can't afford the same song, something. It was flying to silence.
Yeah, you're right.
Why have the tape
Music in
deck
lots
there?
of
There
other
wasn't even
places
intro
now.
music on the intro credits or nothing.
saying, bro.
Like any.
Does they have the house band that's been playing all damn movie
Yeah.
play something?
Get the drummer from American Ninja 4.
Something. Get the drummer from that movie you were showing us when we were over. What was it? The Brooklyn one?
Oh,
yeah.
gosh, the Escape from the Bronx.
Escape from the Bronx.
Yeah, well, I don't know what the first
Just that drummer.
Just
Just
get that guy something.
That's right.
like, why is this guy here?
Oh my gosh. All right, so Doug Masters rolls up on Major Pierce. Major Pierce goes, "Who are you?" "I'm a crop duster. I am death," is what the Major says to him.
He says, I am death. I have that speech too. I am death. That guy was terrible.
I liked Major Pierce.
I did too.
Did you?
They were
Yeah, I
flying.
like Major Pierce.
They have their little maneuvers where they're trying to stick with him, and he goes, "Oh, you're a hell of a pilot for a crop duster," and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And Doug, he can't shake him, and Doug's got him in missile
Eject,
lock.
eject,
and he
eject, Major,
implores
eject.
him.
He wore him.
Eject,
He
Miles.
implores him to eject. He does not want to kill Major Pierce, but Major Pierce gives the most, I call it confusing, inane, dumb, pointless
No reason.
line in the entire
Yes.
movie.
Eject!
Death, thou shalt die.
Do you know what's shocking about that line?
What?
It actually comes from John Donne, one of the great poets of English history.
So he's quoting poetry.
It's called a holy sonnet, "Death Be Not Proud," that John Donne wrote, and this was part of it.
That's what this is from.
This is a quote from this poem.
All right. He says,
But it's a dumb quote from this poem.
death, thou shalt die. And I just wanted to cut back to Doug going, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doug's like, yeah, all right. Pew pew.
Blows up
There you go.
the plane.
That's what you want. That's how it works, pretty much. Yeah, you die when I shoot you with my guns or missiles.
I've been so excited to talk about this next scene. So we're on the C-130.
Oh, yeah.
And Kitty and Blonde Boy
Yeah, this is terrible.
have stowed away on the C-130.
Yes.
They're hiding in the back. And Dana has now come up with the T-6 and Malcolm with the other T-6 behind him. And to deal with these two training planes, they're going to open the back hatch to the Air Force guys, set up machine guns, and shoot them down.
Yep.
Right.
And Blonde Boy says to Kitty, can they do that? She's like, well, it'll depressurize the plane. We'll all get sucked out unless we're at a low enough altitude. And so Blonde Boy has the idea that before they can get the gun set up, he's going to open the door before it can be pressurized and suck these bad guys out, which is a successful plan. The first two guys just get sucked out right away with their machine guns, and Kitty's holding on for dear life.
And it is true. I did not know this, but so I learned something watching this movie. C-130 is pressurized.
Is it?
I did not know this.
Well, there you go.
But
there's still two more soldiers.
Yes.
There's a co-pilot and a pilot.
Yes.
And so the co-pilot comes out and tries to unsuccessfully take care.
He starts whipping Blonde Boy's ass for a little bit.
It does.
Is that the pilot? I think it's the pilot that did that.
Was it the pilot?
That was the last guy that came out.
You're right.
So the co-pilot unsuccessfully is able to do it.
He's
He stepped out.
The pilot comes out, and we're treated to about a minute and a half of a grown man beating the
up a boy.
crap
Yes.
out of a teenage boy.
Yeah.
He's beating him like he stole something.
He's throwing haymakers on him.
Like, I'm sitting here watching this going, jeez.
Oh, he was beating me loud.
He's beating me loud, huh?
It was
Like,
awesome.
put up your dukes. like 30 style boxing.
And then after he beats the crap out of this kid, he just falls out of the plane.
Yep.
Yeah.
Much.
He's like, he got too tired. He's like,
I think it was supposed to be air pressure still.
Maybe.
They were holding on to straps and stuff still.
but once it's depressurized, isn't it the same pressure as what's outside? It's not
just
going to suck
wind.
anything out
It's
anymore.
wind at that time.
Yeah.
All the adults
Maybe
have
that's all
fallen to their
You need to
death.
put air in to get air out.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the adults have fallen to their death. Kitty is now taken over and is now flying the C-130.
Yeah, she magically knows how to fly C-130.
But why in the blue hell would Blonde Boy start dumping all of the biological weapons out of the airplane?
Into the ocean.
In the
The
ocean.
deepest part of the ocean, man.
But don't you want to recover those? Isn't that evidence? Are you just going to feel safe enough to just launch bioweapons out of the back of your
to
plane?
be fair, he is a delinquent used to getting rid of evidence.
That's true. That's true.
How confident are you this isn't going to be an issue when you're just chucking them out of an airplane?
Well,
You
if
better be
I was
real
on the
sure.
plane,
You gotta be.
I'd rather not have those on the plane with me.
Well, I understand that, but like,
well,
you're
weren't
just,
they already set time?
Well, that's true.
They
I
might
mean-
have. The one was 48 hours. It was going to go off anyway. They might have been set timed and.
I don't know.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it could have been. Yeah,
All we
who
know
knows?
is he did the
We'll
right
give him the
thing.
benefit of the doubt.
He did the right thing.
He did.
You think he did the right thing?
Well, it didn't kill anybody.
He did what the director said. to do.
Except
Well,
for
on
the sharks
hindsight,
at the
it was the
bottom
right
of the
thing.
Caribbean Ocean.
I mean, you got to
Immediately.
take chances.
I immediately thought back to True Lies when Arnold and Arnold Schwarzenegger and Tom Arnold are on the chopper, and the Harriers are coming in to blow up the trucks that have the nukes in them.
Yep.
And he's like, the pilot checks with Arnold. He's like, now us blowing up these trucks aren't going to set off those nukes, right? And Arnold goes, that's a negative, bright boy. And he turns to Tom Arnold and he goes, like, I hope it doesn't blow up these nukes. I think that's what happened here.
I think so. Yeah.
He chucked him out, and they're like, I hope
Hope
nothing
they don't
happens.
open up and infect the whole world.
The whole ocean, all the fish die. They all bubble up.
Smallpox. We've had that dealt with for a long time.
God. All right, so the last person to deal with is the general. It cuts back to the ground. The general has the gun.
I have this
Chappie,
speech too.
and he says, basically, it's time to kill you, Chappie. What's the speech?
General Kettle, he's realizing the plan has failed. Sergeant Osgood, it's time for a strategic withdrawal. Please get me my helicopter. He holds Chappie at gunpoint. Chappie, you're infected. Infected with something more virulent than Pandora. Disloyalty and killing my country. Charles Chappy Sinclair defiantly in the notes here. Well, loyalty is earned, Brad. It's nurtured. It's not an anesthetic you people think it is, Major General Brad Kettle. You know, I'm going to miss our little competitions, Chappie. Any words for posterity? I hope your aim is as bad as your judgment.
What's the competition? I try to shoot you, and you try not to get shot.
That's the best line of the movie. I hope your aim is as bad as your judgment. And this is not at this range. Not much chance of that. well, nothing's impossible.
Right at that moment, here comes Doug Masters on a strafing run.
Yeah.
He's got his explosive bullets from Iron Eagle 1 in there, strafes these
Blowing
Jeeps and
everything
blows
up.
them up.
Blows up. More
Right.
explosions I have in my notes.
More
Everything
explosions.
explodes.
At this point, the general's trying to run away, and we get
I
Sergeant
just love
Osgood.
that he's just running down the road. Like, where is he going? I'm just gonna run.
He's just running.
Run.
He's
Take
Forrest
my,
Gump. I'm just running.
take my ample frame body out of here.
Running.
Sergeant Coke bottles from Iron Eagle 2. Basically, what'd you guys think of his plan? He's like, I'm gonna get on this chopper with a machine gun.
Yep.
Chopper, I need you to raise me up in the air so that I can be at level with this fighter jet that's coming in, so I can shoot it with my machine gun.
Yeah. That.
Well, you can't shoot up from a chopper.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be at least as high as.
least-
Why
Not
just
as-
shoot from the ground? Why do you
Thinking,
think?
if they had the training plane, he's got a shot. A fighter jet.
Dude's coming in on an F-16. He's like takes an elevator up basically in this helicopter to shoot at him with a machine gun.
He
Gets
thought
up
he
there
was
in the
flying
Walk-A-Vader.
Airwolf or Riptide or one of those guys
Well, Doug blows him out of the sky in about
blowed up.
4 seconds.
in his Coke bottle glass.
Everything, boom. And then General Kettle decides that smallpox is preferable to
Yes,
jail.
He kills himself.
Yeah.
Goes into the disease room.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kills himself with smallpox.
Yep.
Kitty lands the C-130 without a problem.
Oh man,
All
that
the
was
kids
the
making fun of
smoothest
her.
landing ever.
You know why? Because there was a professional pilot in the cockpit that you could clearly see.
Oh, for sure. They didn't even put a blonde wig on
There's
him.
clearly a man in there flying.
It wasn't Kitty.
Like,
Oh,
at least put a blonde wig on the
No.
guy.
something.
Right? Something. Please.
It actually just looked like a normal C-130 crew.
It did.
Yeah.
All
It
right.
was
We,
just some
we,
footage they got from outside the fence of the air base.
Right. Yeah.
we do get a little epilogue.
It's like we need just one scene that has some closure to it. So go get some footage of a
Oh,
C-130
if
landing.
you're looking for closure, the epilogue's not going to do you any good. You get 2 things happen in the epilogue.
There's an epilogue.
Wheeler looks like she's about to leave, right?
Yeah.
She wants to go to Mexico or whatever. And Doug pulls the same trick Chappy pulled at him. Well, can you at least stay till we have
Yes.
a replacement? How long is that going to take? Well, a few days, a couple weeks. You know,
tough to say.
Tough to say. We'll see. And then he goes and he puts both of his arms,
My wife was getting very nervous. At
one on each side of her head, up against this fence. And I'm like, what on
is
earth
happening?
is about to happen?
exactly.
16.
She's supposed to be a minor.
She's 1635, but nonetheless.
Now, in this movie, he's the minor and she's
Yes.
the old person.
Right.
Or I should say in real life.
In real life.
In the movie, we're basing this on the movie. In the script,
Yes.
it makes
Got very
no
uncomfortable.
sense at all.
Right.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
clearly a romantic.
Well, I
was-
thought so.
He was in prison way too long.
Yeah, well, that's probably true.
He wasn't
He
getting on with the
wasn't-
crop duster
He
girl.
wasn't getting on with it. I think it was more of a brotherly.
You think so?
Yeah, because at the end she like wraps him up and he holds her like a little sister and they walk down to a deer.
I'm
Which
happy
is
that
fine, but
I'm happy they didn't go that way.
Yes.
but it
But it was uncomfortable.
It was real.
I was
It was-
worried. My
it
wife
was-
was worried.
end of
Yes.
Nick Fury vibes I was getting there.
Yes, for sure. Now, the other, maybe even more ridiculous thing that
Yes.
happens is we get the new freshman class, which is 30 kids or something. It's like
They
a lot of kids.
expanded.
They expanded.
Yeah. They got a bigger budget.
They got more volunteers. They like,
But then
oh, all right.
all of the previous kids are now flight instructors.
Yes, that
Yes.
seemed unlikely.
Are they still in jail?
I don't know.
And
Guess
why
not.
They
Well,
could-
Cox is
You got to
no.
imagine after the next class, what are you going to do with 37 flight instructors? We're going to need a lot of planes, bigger dorms.
Two things
They
about
just
that.
called them the freshman class.
Well, I think Wilcox is still tied up to the fence post.
He's got to
So
be.
no one knew that this happened, right?
We never saw him get
never
untied,
saw him
so
get
he's
untied.
still out there in some farm field somewhere in Georgia.
And secondly,
cow
the
through the
second
field just-
freshman class was just as pissed about being there as the
Yeah,
first
I
class.
know.
I'm like, what's wrong? You're gonna teach us how to fly like that?
You're gonna teach us to do that?
I'm like, what the hell? Someone slapped
Yeah,
these kids upside the head. Go back to your
Do you
juvie
understand
hall.
you got out of jail to fly airplanes?
Jeez.
why aren't these other kids in jail though? They
don't know, 'cause they
they're
saved the
cops.
world.
They're
Kids in Chinese jails that want to fly these airplanes.
Nothing means anything.
They got pardons because they saved the world from Pandora.
Oh, fine.
Okay.
That's the end of the movie.
Yeah, thankfully.
All right, let's throw this some awards, some flowers at Iron Eagle for. I know
Just
you're
because we're
excited.
contractually obligated.
You're excited to hear what the patrons had to say about this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
You
interesting.
know, members at certain tiers, members of our Patreon get to participate and send their votes and their awards in. So
Yeah, we're sorry.
if you'd like to participate and be part of the show, that's how you do that. Just go to our patreon.com/badmoviesrule and you can sign up. And you can be heard your stuff read out here on the show, just like these 3 individuals we got today. We're going to start, as we always do, with the most prestigious award we give out, the Will Patton Award for Intensity.
You want a war? I'll give you a war!
I don't want them to gain another yard.
You blitz all night! If they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm gonna take every last one of you out. You make sure they remember forever.
The night they flew for the Iron Eagle Flight School.
That Doug Masters took down the major.
My gosh. All right, so the Will Patton Award for Intensity is for the actor that gave the most intense performance, that even though their part may have been ridiculous, they brought seriousness and intensity to the role and really fully went for it. And who wants to get it kicked off? Mayor,
I'll go,
yeah.
So I'm going to give honorable mention to Dr. Gully.
Yeah, the death scene.
The death scene. Just for the death scene.
Yes.
I didn't go with her. I went with General Kittle.
General Kettle.
Yeah.
Because I think he was the one. You look at the whole ridiculousness of this movie. He was the one that was kind of took it seriously the whole time. He was in character the whole time. He was nice general, then he was mean general, traitorous general. So I give Al Waxman, General Kettle.
A veteran actor.
Yeah.
Has done tons of movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm giving it to the doc.
Dr. Gully.
Yeah.
Gully.
Just her smallpox death.
That
Smallpox.
was
And, yeah.
impressive.
Is that what it looks like when you die from smallpox? You just sink slowly.
absolutely.
You slink
If it
slowly
kills
to the
you in
ground.
There's
4
actually
seconds
more-
like that one
I
did.
think there's more pox involved, actually. And
She had the
they
medium pox.
blister-
Yeah.
They blister, they infect you.
They were all under her shirt.
Yeah, they itch
Yeah.
a lot and then you die.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
Charles, so we got one for Dr. Gully. We got one for Al
This is going to get
Waxman.
complicated.
General Kettle. Who you got?
I got Wilcox. I like the old sheriff.
Sheriff Wilcox.
Yeah, he was in character every time. I really believed he
That
hated
would've been
them
my
kids
second,
and Chappy.
yeah.
Yeah, I liked him.
I had him in a running too. Yeah.
He brought in that thing. This will shut you down tighter than a drum. I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
I'm
like
not sure
his,
that's
I like his stuff and
how that saying works, but
he went for it. I enjoy it. Yeah, his
that's awesome. I
scenes
love
were
the
good,
actor.
But
I
it
love
was
the
good.
actor.
He was good.
What's going to be a four-way
Sean
tie?
McCann is
Sean
his-
McCann.
Sean McCann.
It's going to be a four-way tie going to the patrons, so they'll break the tie because I gave mine to Dean McDermott as Major Pierce. I thought Major Pierce was super intense.
He was.
Blowing away children. Just
Death,
I am death.
shalt I die or whatever. Thou
right.
shalt die.
Took it super serious.
He was
that
terrible
guy.
though.
Yeah, but he was very intense and very into what he was
I
doing.
guess.
So let's see what the patrons had to say. We got Mystic Owl. It goes by Mystic Owl. Maybe the second time I think we've had Mystic
Can
Owl.
I just say this before we go on
Yeah.
there? It's amazing we all came up with 4 different intense people in this movie. What is going on?
Well, here's the thing. This has everything. It tells you everything about Lou Gossett Jr.'s performance in the movie because I think he's won every movie.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I
But
gave
not
it to him
this
in my first
The
and
Intensity
second one
Award.
for sure.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this time, and maybe
Not
he didn't
even
win the third one.
spoken
Maybe
to.
Rachel McDish did, but
Yeah.
but he's always at least in the running,
Yeah.
and not one of us
No.
this time.
No.
No.
Because he
did.
cakewalked
He
it.
totally just
He did.
condoed.
He
it.
was.
Here.
Yeah.
Even his speeches were like laid back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't good.
He needed money to go to steakhouse.
Yeah.
Mystic Owl went with Joe Vanicola as Wheeler because she yelled
Wheeler.
every single line
She
that
did
she
yell.
had
She did.
in the movie.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, 5-way tie.
Five-way
And she was
tie.
relatively
Somebody's gotta
annoying
double
when
up
she
here.
did it.
Rebecca Conkey's coming back in. I think she's been a multiple-time award giver on the show.
Is that
Rebecca.
Madela's cousin?
Madela's cousin.
Okay.
Dr. Madela's cousin. She gave it to the pilot that beat up that kid in the C-130.
That's the 6-way tie.
Oh my goodness. What is going on in this movie?
I love that vote. I love
That's a
it.
pretty good
that's a good one.
If it
I like
ends
that
up
one.
in a 7-way tie, I might change my vote to the guy that beat up
Beat
the
up
kid.
the kid in the plane. He was pretty intense. I believe he
was
was
pretty
beating that
intense.
kid up. Yeah.
He was like Tyson back there beating up that kid. I think I even saw him biting ear.
And look, I think we are going to have a 7-way tie because TJ Strader wrote in and he gave it to Luther, the snaggletooth drug dealing army surplus guy.
God, that's so true, though.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my goodness.
I'm going to change my vote to the pilot that beat up the kid.
Beat up the kid.
C-130.
All right.
That's a good one.
It's going to
There we
ultimately
go.
win.
Hey. Can't argue with that.
All right.
Oh, man.
Our first in a while nameless person.
We have to have a winner.
That is so weird
You
that we
win,
had
sir.
7 different.
That's amazing. We might get 7 different trash cans
Seriously.
too.
Yeah.
That seems far more likely.
There's 20 options.
Right. There's no shortage of trash can options
But that's
there.
weird that we have 7 different super intense
Yes.
characters.
Yeah. And all of those, I wouldn't have argued any of those.
No,
yeah.
they're all good.
So-
Yeah, they're all good picks.
All right, well, let's move on to our bad acting award, the Steven Seagal trash can filled with dirt.
Trash can, oh trash can, it's a trash can full of dirt. Yeah.
Love never dies, and neither do they. Love is eternal. That's
a long time.
I don't know when I'm ever going to stop laughing.
All right.
Yeah.
The Steven Seagal trash can full of dirt goes to the worst
What a
actor.
tool.
It's just dripping with douchebaggery.
The actor that gave a performance that had the acting range of, right here next to me, a trash can filled
Full
with
of dirt.
Or Steven Seagal.
So, I'll start us off this time.
All right.
I went with Ross Hull as Malcolm, just based off his, oh no, I'm shot. Oh no, I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know, all that
Yeah.
stuff was just so
Yeah.
terrible. And I remember one scene where I was like, he's great.
Yeah.
So I went with Ross Hall. Who'd you have, Mayor?
That's not a bad pick, but I went with Corporal Coke bottles. He was
Sergeant Osgood?
horrible too. Yeah.
We're going to have a
We're
seven-way
going to have
tie.
a 7-way tie. Seems entirely appropriate.
Clint, who you got?
I was
Put
going to
them all
go with
in
Doug
there.
Masters.
You're going to go with
Oh,
Doug Masters, I legitimately, I mean, maybe, all right, whatever. Maybe he's not the worst, but legitimately any other actor cast there as an older
You are right
gentleman, age-wise, they missed hard.
Jason Cadeau.
Casting from the get-go and no real good
All right.
deliveries.
No.
That's
Put
one,
Wheeler in there.
one for Sergeant Osgood, one for Malcolm, and one for Doug Masters.
All right, Charles.
Where'd you go, Charles?
I'm going with another one of the kids.
Oh.
Pilots, Dana. I thought Dana was terrible. Every line Dana gave was awful.
bad.
Everywhere through it.
It's bad.
Never got better.
Terrible.
Even when she was angry, she just sounded herself just yelled
She's
out.
smiley
my
inconvenience.
It was awful.
Yeah.
It's so good, dude. And I want to share this. I'll share it now. But TJ, when he wrote in some notes ahead of his actual review. And TJ Strader, the first thing he said, he goes, "These kids are aggressively Canadian." I loved it, man.
I'm half offended.
All right. Here we go. Where are we at now?
About time someone said it.
It's a boot.
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 All right, we got our.
Hey.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Let me start that over. All right, let's see what the patrons had to say about the Steven Seagal trash can. We got Mystic Owl, who came in with Doug Masters, Jason Cadeau.
Oh, we're not going to have a 7-way.
It's going to be a 7-way this time.
Said it actually took me about 30 minutes to figure out that indeed it was an actor playing the role of Doug Masters.
Yes.
And not a first grader's finger painting of a trash can taped to a stick dubbed by it gets better. Dubbed by a 1997 soundboard hosted on a GeoCities dial-up internet website.
GeoCity broke out the GeoCity.
That's harsh right there, man.
Remember the
We have
GeoCities?
the greatest listeners
Seriously.
on the planet, I
People are funnier
swear.
than we are.
Dude,
Oh, my
good
God.
stuff. So
Could you imagine if they did their own podcast?
I know.
man.
Imagine that. All right, Rebecca went. We
Hey,
have a new vote here.
Don't tell them anyone can do podcasts. We might be out of job.
It's really hard to get into podcasting.
Yeah.
It really is really a high bar.
bar.
Plug in microphones, say idiotic things.
Yes.
into it.
Yeah,
That's about it.
super hard.
Stick with it till people join you.
That's right. Rebecca went with Al Waxman and gave it to General Kettle.
Oh
Wow.
We had him. He was
Somebody's
I
Will
gave
Patton?
him my Will
yeah,
Patton.
Will Patton,
Yeah.
and so it's a good movie. Complex film when you've got both of the person selected for both options.
So it would have been a 6-way tie. The only common vote was the two of you picking Doug
That is
Masters.
my fault.
Because no, we're good. TJ Strader went with Wheeler. Said I didn't buy any of what she
was in my
selling.
running too.
A fake New York accent, a leather jacket, and a mullet don't make you tough. So
No, she would.
I
6 people gather 7 votes.
I could have really thought about I wanted to say Chappy, which would have gave us our
Oh,
7-way.
yeah.
But like Chappy is Chappy.
still-
Like he was who he was. He just did a really
I don't think he was
phoned in
bad.
job.
That
I mean, he
thought
acted
crossed
like
my
he was
mind
kind of an old
too.
guy.
But like
Yeah.
I expected a lot more
For sure.
Yes.
and didn't get it, so I was disappointed. I figured that's not the reason. to give
Chappie
him the
crossed my mind too, and I was like, I cannot do that to Lou Gossett. He wasn't like Dudikoff bad in his first or Seagull bad, right?
Oh no, gosh, no, not. I mean,
There
Chappie.
were plenty of other
But I'm
options
just saying
below
that I was just,
Chappie.
like, disappointed.
No, for
The
sure.
only thing I'll say about Vanicola, Joanne, and this is in context that she's 30-something, is I thought she was cute when she wore her flight helmet.
Oh, okay, there you go.
She was like 27
She's got
when this
work
came out.
before.
Yeah.
You know,
You can not feel bad about that.
15.
You're
So,
right. Yeah, right.
I'm good with that. That was the only thing that saved her in my eyes. Was she looked cute in a flight helmet?
Oh, all right. So we are getting down to the nitty gritty here, but we have a brand new award on the show that we debuted last week. And we are honoring, for those of you who didn't hear that one, Steve James with his own award on the show, the Steve James Unsung Hero Award that we can give out for one of two reasons. You can either give the Steve James Award to somebody who was in a non-lead role that the movie was just simply better because they were in it than it would have been if they hadn't been in it.
All right.
AKA just like Steve James in all the American Ninja movies.
Gotcha.
And, or you can give it to somebody who you wish had been the main character instead of the person that was, aka Steve James in every movie that he's ever in.
Okay.
Where it would have been a more interesting movie if it had followed them instead of the main character.
Yeah.
So there's two different ways. you
Okay,
can
I
go.
get that.
Yeah. So,
I see.
Ryan, who's your Steve James unsung hero?
You know, I'm going to change it. At first, I had Crop Duster Lady. I thought she did all right.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with Dr. Gully.
Dr.
I
Gully.
wish she would have been more involved in the movie and part of the plot.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden they're bringing her this canisters and that's it. And she spouts off, oh, yeah, this thing will kill you in 3 seconds. And that's it. And then she, the death scene. So I'm going to give it to Dr. Gully.
I like that pick. I like the unsung hero for sure.
Roscoe.
Roscoe.
Could you imagine if we followed Roscoe's actual character as the lead of this movie? Like he goes home and beats his wife because he couldn't get this flight
I don't know,
school
he didn't seem like a
canceled.
wife beater to me.
My God.
He's a police officer, right?
Okay.
Oh, we're not doing that?
No.
All right, we don't have to do that.
That's not going to make it in.
I could just see him going home and eating some Twinkies and
But that's what
mumbling
I'm saying,
under
like, he
his
goes
breath.
this whole
"Dadgum
thing, he's all
governor,
pissed off
dadgum
watching TV,
governor,
has a
always got
drink."
letting these hooligans do
Chasing
flying.
down
I
Bo and
wanted to
Luke
fly
Duke.
when I was a kid, but now I'm too fat and I can't fit in a plane. That's what he'd be talking about.
And like it spends an hour with him getting free from the post.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's right. Enos, stop moving. You gotta get the cuffs undone first before you move up and down. You're hurting my wrists. That would have been awesome.
Who do you have as your unsung hero?
I have Rudy. I really
Rudy.
Rudy was awesome.
I love that.
Inhaler, and he's always, we're gonna die. We're
He
gonna
thought
die.
the movie was better
And
because
then at
he
the
was
end,
in it.
driving that car, it was
Yeah.
awesome.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't hate him.
Rudy was the best kid.
I think Rudy made the movie
I thought he's
better.
like Mikey. I like I say, remind me of Mikey from the Goonies, just inhaler all the
Yeah.
time, and he's just like,
He's like
I don't need it.
Great Value Ralph Macchio in the movie too. I'm like, hey, we got a Ralph Macchio knockoff.
Perfect.
Rudy, he was good.
nice.
I went with Rachel Blanchard as Kitty as the unsung hero.
Okay.
All right.
I thought she was the best of the children, although I didn't mind Rudy at all. And I thought
She's a hell of a C-130 pilot.
she's a hell of a C-130 pilot.
Yeah.
She
And
wasn't hateable. Like it wasn't like, oh
She
God,
could
every time
hack
she opened her mouth.
computers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
She had the least offensive crime.
With
Yes.
Chappie's blog on.
I thought the movie was made better because of her. So that's my pick
fair,
there for
yes,
two.
I think.
It's a new award, so our patrons didn't have that included in theirs because they're not used to it happening. So I'm assuming the patrons, as we go on, will include their picks for the Steve James Unsung Hero Award. All right. We're going to ask a question that we have to ask every movie, which is how would Arnold have made this movie better? Not would he, because we've already established that he would.
Yeah.
Would have definitely made
100%.
This movie's not a 10. He would make it better.
But how could he have made it better? And when you got a guy hip-firing, belt-fed machine guns at kids,
That's right where I went.
Major Pierce.
Major Pierce.
That's what I thought of immediately, right?
Absolutely.
Puny kids.
Right.
Yeah.
I
just
am
had
death.
Could you imagine him sticking out of the canopy of the aircraft? Like a big extra bubble on top, like the Pope's in there.
Be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Or Go ahead. Yeah, you got
I
some
just
for Arnold?
had one of the bad army guys.
Well, why don't you just have him
Yeah, I
be
think
the C-130 pilot that
Yeah,
beats up
beats
the
the
child?
kid. That'd be good too.
Arnold comes out of the cockpit. He's like, "Oh, we got them all," but then he turn around and Arnold comes out of the cockpit, takes his shirt off.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's just like
Oiled up.
Crap.
Yeah.
He's all oiled up.
What if he's
kid
Wheeler? Put him in his Wheeler.
Yeah, there you go.
He said, "I want to go to Mexico, and I'm going to sell you some sugar."
And you're gonna like it.
That's what
I would have believed she could have gotten away from all the thugs Luther had
Yeah,
if he was
sure.
Arnold.
Well, Arnold will punch out the other three
Yeah,
teeth Luther had.
Or, make Arnold Luther.
Yeah.
my God.
Oh, yeah.
Because Arnold was a tank driver in the army in Austria when he was so he literally has a tank in the States. He drives around. And there's videos of him crushing cars and driving around and
Nice.
doing stuff.
That's what happens when you get super rich.
He's a tank pilot. A pilot, driver, as a tank driver.
I'm gonna go with pilot.
So you could have got him in there
go fly
and
some
have
tanks.
Arnold just sticking out of the tank hole,
yeah.
right? Just driving around
with the little helmet on.
with a little helmet on. It's like, I'm coming for you.
But his head's too big, so the helmet just kind of perched right on top.
My money.
I was thinking back to the pilot being Arnold, and he comes out and he rips his shirt off,
Yeah.
and the kid goes, "Kitty, help me."
That's right. You get a Harrison Ford moment. Get off my plane. Oh man,
He's the jukebox.
Yeah, he's a jukebox.
Louis Gossett hit checks him and breaks a hip.
All of a
Like
sudden,
bounces
here,
out of the room.
Just start singing.
take out the papers and the trash.
60s blues or Motown music.
No, you don't get no spending cash. Yakety yak. Don't go back. All right. Little twins for you. All right.
They're all
So
movies I would like to see.
Yeah,
we have to land somewhere, guys. It's come to that moment now
we have to.
where we have to give this movie a final rating. We have to decide, is it a straight up bad movie, a good movie, or a bad movie that rules? Mayor, where'd you come down?
All right, so we all have an Uncle Benny and a Aunt Hilda.
Everybody does.
Everybody does. Uncle Benny thinks he's Don Johnson from Miami Vice. Always dresses in white.
Yeah.
They always bring dog treats to Fido.
Bad news for Uncle Benny.
Only this time, Aunt Hilda grabbed laxatives, gave it to the dog. And she's petting the dog, right? Petting Fido. All of a sudden, Fido's ass explodes all over Uncle Benny's white suit. The dog's so startled by it, he bites Aunt Hilda's hand and runs out the door. The only saving grace is it's on the tile where any residual can be mopped up. This is a bad movie, man. Straight up bad.
All right.
Dog diarrhea bag.
Poor Uncle Benny and Aunt Hilda.
Uncle Benny.
Let's pour one out for Uncle Benny. What do you got for me, Clint?
I don't know if it's that bad, but it's bad, dude. This movie's bad. Like I judge mine. I've gone to changes. Like the bottom end is like, if you were to suggest, hey, you want to come over and watch Iron Eagle 4? I'm going to say no. And the high end of bad movies that rules, I'm going to suggest we watch this movie that's bad
sure, for sure.
to my friends.
Right.
Like, I will not watch this one again. I've watched it before, and I only watched it again for this. But, like, legitimately, it's not a rewatchable movie.
Yeah.
It's that bad.
Yeah. So you're just going straight up.
Straight up bad movie.
All right.
I haven't done one of those in a while. Unless it
It's
was
been
earnest.
a while. Yeah, it's been a while.
Unless
for
it
you.
was earnest, yeah.
I tend to go rules a lot, and people go, "What?"
Yeah.
Charles, where you at?
So I came in and I had bad movie. Maybe that rules.
Oh,
Oh, he's our...
But after this discussion,
Yeah.
that's a piece of crap. I remember how bad this is watching. I remember I had to stop and rewind this movie, not because I was asleep like the last one I did, because I didn't understand what was going on in this movie.
Millie didn't have to wake you up.
No.
they just straight up left out
Bad.
shots.
It was so confusing.
Yeah, it was-
From the very beginning of the movie, not knowing who Bucky was, thinking it was another time they flew into the Soviet airspace.
Right.
Yeah.
It never got clear.
Yeah.
No, and don't tell me it's budgetary when all you need
No.
is a shot a couple times of people driving away or whatever, like just to finish scenes so they would make sense.
Right.
Shots they probably have.
There's there's stock footage out
just
there.
keep
It's-
rolling.
Just keep rolling.
Right.
Let's go.
It was bad.
All right, so here's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to leave you all in suspense. This has become increasingly rare for me. I'm going straight up bad movie, which I don't do very
Finally,
often.
you've come online.
Yeah, it's bad. It's just, and to me, I tend to enjoy movies like these. I've given some movies like Vindicator and others, Good Bad Movie That Rules, because it's so hilarious to me, the things that happen. But in this, the hacky filmmaking, the leaving shots out, the putting things dramatically in the wrong order, like when he listens to the tape, all that stuff just pisses me off. And there's not enough funniness to circumvent that for me.
And even the treat that's supposed to be in there, Lou Gossett Jr.
Yeah.
It's the sugar-free version.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
It's just not enough. There's not any charm in this movie.
No, there's no stakes.
And he was trying to be,
Yeah.
Lou Gossett was trying to be like almost like the old retired sage grandfatherly like guy that's kind of cool
The fun
and
grandpa.
funny, and he just didn't get there.
No. That thing I told my wife about, I thought, this is interesting. I said, the problem with this movie is, of all of them, this is probably the storyline theoretically could be the most plausible.
Yeah.
right. And it's completely unplausible.
Right.
That's what I was going to say. It's like, there is no way that a retired military general starts up a program to teach underage kids how to fly.
Yeah.
And that's what my wife said. She's like, I don't believe any of this.
No.
But as far as like logistics, it's mostly within the United States. I mean, all of it is. Like, they're not flying
and
to
it's
foreign countries, they're not
plausible.
flying
You
military
could-
jets.
Right.
But it's so poorly made and such a stupid story.
Because you could take at-risk kids and say, hey, we're going to start this program up and teach you some skills or whatever. And it's plausible. You're absolutely right.
Let's imagine you're starting a flight school for anybody.
Yes.
What's the plane?
Well, that's a good question.
What's the plane? Is it a T6?
No, it's gonna
not
be
even close.
it's going to be a Cessna 150. He's a great Cessna pilot, and Doug was a great Cessna pilot.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, there's no way you're teaching these underprivileged,
well, that doesn't make sense in the
kids.
story, right? Because this is an advanced trainer, so they already learned how to fly somewhere.
Yeah.
They didn't tell us any of that story.
Yeah.
No, because when we roll up on them, they're already flying.
Yeah, and they're doing aerobatics.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right, let's see what the patrons had to say. Mystic Owl says, I haven't seen anything this bad come out of Canada since Avril Lavigne and Nickelback teamed up.
Oh, poor Nickelback always gets a bad rap here.
We got a Nickelback fan over here, guys.
This movie should have been titled This movie should have been titled Tin Seagull or Paper Mache Pigeon. I'm pretty sure.
I love Tin Seagull.
Not Iron Eagle. I'm pretty sure they got all the costumes on November 1st at the Spirit Halloween store. But the one that's in the bad part of town,
Right.
nothing made any sense. In one scene, you had pilots running to unarmed Northrop T-38s at a Canadian airport, then smash cut to stock footage of F-16s over California.
That's what it was, T-38.
Then smash once more to a model airplane MiG blowing up.
Yes.
Also, what the heck is up with Doug Masters trying to creepily hit on the underage girl at the end of the movie? Where's Sheriff Wilcox when you need him?
It's tied to a post.
That might not be illegal in his
Cuffed
jurisdiction.
out in the
though, I don't
farm
know.
field.
He says, I rate this a bad movie, full stop, from Mystic Owl.
All
Bad
right,
movie,
Mystic
full
We
stop.
haven't
Owl
got
on
anyone
board.
that said it's anything other than bad.
Oh, I know.
Uh-oh.
TJ Strader
First
said,
time?
Maybe.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
TJ Strader said, these people are aggressively Canadian.
Why are we hating on the Canadians here today?
Fake Doug Masters smokes a lot of cigarettes. He calls him fake Doug Masters.
He is fake Doug Masters.
Smokes a lot of cigarettes. I
Great
should have
value,
kept
great man.
count. Why did he just throw the chemical weapons out of the plane? Thank you. Is fake Doug going to have a relationship with Wheeler? Basically, he said nothing interesting happened.
No.
Nobody said anything interesting. There were no stakes. The plot was ridiculous. I can't believe this even got made. Straight up bad movie from
That's
TJ
true.
Strader.
Oh, my goodness.
Man, Rebecca.
We have one last chance. This doesn't go
get something
full 7.
full right.
Supposed to be 37%.
That's right.
Yeah, 1/3.
I don't know.
I watched this with my dad, who was in the Air Force in the 80s.
This is not going to be good.
This is not good.
No.
I
Yep.
would give anything
Yes,
to watch
yes,
this movie
yes, yes.
with somebody from the Air Force,
Yes.
from the 80s Air Force even. We'd both seen the first one, and he's seen the second one, but he had never seen the third one.
Oh, he'd love the third one.
I think the third one's fun.
Yeah, I think third one, yeah.
Neither of us had seen this one. Here are some notes I took that my dad mentioned while we were watching the movie.
Oh, man.
The MiG-29s were F4s.
Best actors in the whole movie.
That's right. Non-regulation haircuts on the colonel and the 2-star general.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
If this was filmed in the 90s, they would have been wearing desert camouflage because of Desert Storm.
Oh, interesting, yeah.
My dad said, those are F5s. When it changed to the shots where they were in the air, he was like, oh, I guess they are F-16. I was looking at the extra info on IMDb, and someone else said that F5s were used for ground shots and then changed to F-16s in the air. The thing that I noticed was Dr. Gully was from Anne of Green Gables, as well as the sequel.
Oh.
So, all right. I should love that movie when I was a kid. She plays Miss Stacy. I would watch this movie again because it made my dad and I laugh pretty hard and was overall entertaining. Bad movie that ruled.
All right.
From
all right.
Rebecca.
We found the one.
We have one. We were this close to full sweep.
6-1 for bad.
We found the one.
Well, I'm glad that her father and her could bond over that.
Yeah.
That's
Well, and that's a
fun.
different kind of circumstance too. When you've got, I mean, she's looking back at the experience. Oh, it's when you have that different kind of experience there with her dad.
That's true.
Right.
You know, you
That's
get to
why
bond over the comedy in the room. You know, you're not thinking about the movie. You're thinking about the
This is why we love movies,
audience.
right?
That's right.
These sort of
Absolutely.
moments. My wife and I are just going, what the hell's going on in this?
Well, if there's a patron that watched this movie with a retired Air Force guy from the 80s, I can only hope that next week somebody, a cousin, an uncle, a dad, a grandpa that was a trucker for their whole life, go and grab them, bring them into your living room and watch next week's movie with them, please, because I want to hear all about that. Because next week we're doing a trucker movie.
Trucker movie.
Not just a trucker movie.
Better
That's like good enough on its own.
It's not space truckers. Is it?
No, it's Earth truckers.
Chuck was like, missed opportunity.
What's going on?
I'm kitty table.
Is called movie's called Breaker Breaker,
Oh my gosh.
starring
Chuck
Norris.
Yes.
Is that first Chuck Norris movie?
No, we did Delta Force.
Oh, okay, that's right.
So this is our second one. This is
Actually, it might be the first Chuck Norris movie because we did Delta Force.
what's great about this is it's a clean-shaven, blonde-haired Chuck Norris
Wow.
from the 70s
Whoa, called
in
Breaker
this
Breaker.
movie. It's called Breaker Breaker.
He's a truck driver.
And all I know is it's something to have to do with truck driving and karate kicking dudes in the face.
Does he have a pet cat that travels with
That's
him?
all it is. I have no idea because I haven't seen it yet.
There's this Reddit called Trucker Cats.
Really?
Truckers that have cats along with them on the ride.
That's a thing?
Yeah, it's very entertaining. They have little harnesses that take them on walks. They put cat trees in their cats.
What is wrong with you?
Seriously?
It's awesome. They sit on the dash and they sit in the chairs and they pet 'em.
Dude, I would.
They keep the lot lizards away.
I want to
Yeah,
be.
that's true.
Or maybe they attract them because
Maybe,
women like
know.
kitties.
yeah.
Like, sorry, I already have some kitty in here.
I was thinking how to say. Nice
All right.
pussy. No,
Get away.
like, wait, I can't
Protects
say
you
that.
from a lot of harm.
Pat
Yes.
Morita's out in the parking lot. I bet he gets a lot of pussy cats in the window.
I was like, how do I say this?
Next week, Breaker Breaker. Go watch it. It's out there. It's a trucker movie starring Chuck Norris.
Maybe someone kills his cat. It's
And
like
that's
a
why
John Wick
it's like the
situation.
John Wick.
Yeah, John
Killed
Wick.
my
yeah.
trucker cat. Prepare
It
to
was
die.
John Wick before there was John Wick.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
They better not have a pencil.
hide your
Join us
pencil.
next week. It's going to be a fun one.
That sounds
In the meantime, we just want to say thank you for tuning in. We have officially put the Iron Eagle series to bed.
Yes.
We'll
Until we make Iron Eagle 5 ourselves.
we're going to share a little
Good
bit
plot
more.
points in that episode for 5, actually.
Those on the Patreon, we'll do our post show here where we're going to do a little bit of wrap up on the whole series like we did after we finished the American Ninja series. And we'll look forward to that. If you're on the Patreon after show, it should be coming out soon. Thank you guys for listening. On behalf of the Mayor Ryan Mueller and the Dirt Farmer Clint Bush and the Reverend Charles Hewitt, I am James Hauser. Thank you for listening. Oh, I guess Chappy just slapped a jukebox because the music started.
He's slapping
That's
the
right.
jukebox.
Last time you'll do that in Iron
I'm
Eagle
slapping
movie.
jukebox and teaching kids. They're gonna fly. I got nothing.
But they already did because we got there and they were flying. Doug is out. Doug is in. Doug is out.
What do we get to? 6?
He's back in. Doug is out. And he's back in. He quit again. But he's back in.
Call him a coward. He's back in.
Play the tape, Doug.
He's back in.
Wait, he was already still in.
He was in more.
He was inner.
He was inner.
He was the most innest.
Thank God the series is over.